We have this big, wonderful sign that says Mike to remind me that, yes, thank you, so that we're sure that everyone can hear. I'm sorry for the delay. We are trying to be sure that we're following correct parliamentary procedure, and I think we have it together. Pledge of Allegiance. I can't remember my list at the moment. Michael,
Yes,
would you lead us in the pledge?
Ready? Begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think we swapped sides. I know. Okay.
Creatures of habit.
Creatures of habit, that's right. I need to make a note there. President Kinnaman, would you call roll?
Oh, yes. Student Trustee Campbell.
Present.
Trustee O'Neill.
Present.
Trustee Wilson.
Present.
Trustee Sanchez.
Present.
Trustee Stefan.
Present.
Trustee Broughton.
Present, sort of. So, we all being present, I would like to thank Student Trustee for being here so early this morning, but I do want her to remember that we love her and we appreciate her being here, but we do understand when you're not here at the first part of this meeting or you need to be absent because of a class. So, we actually do understand that going to classes and going to school is your most important job, but we do thank you for your dedication. The board meeting agenda. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.2b2, the board may take action on items of business not appearing on the posted agenda upon determination by a 2/3 vote of the board, or if less than 2/3 of the members are present, a unanimous vote, that there is a need for immediate action, and that the need for action came to the attention of the local agency subsequent to the agenda being posted as specified. Are there any corrections, additions, corrections, or deletions to this agenda of September the 19th, 2014? I have one item I can see that's been added. Action item, I've got it here. Action item, administrative services, item 4, approval of affiliation agreements. Am I correct in saying there's a copy in the back? There's copies of this in the back for those that want to hold it in their hand and see the additions. Also, the security report will be presented at 11 a.m. Are there any other additions?
There's one other correction on Human Resources Item 4, resignations, and I understand that we're getting copies of that made to put on the back as well.
Okay, so just to be clear, we have one addition, we have a correction, and we'll, as soon as the copies are here, we'll look at that correction. And that announcement that that security report will be presented at 11. So I am looking for a motion that the agenda.
So move.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second that the agenda is stands as amended. From here we go into closed session. The agenda says that it is a closed session from 9:35 to 10:15. The meeting will be back in session at 10:30. Thank you so much.
Hold on.
Red,
Oh, red card, what did I not do? I didn't vote. Okay, we need a vote, thank you. A student trustee. Yeah, I've got a red card, he keeps me in line. Student trustee, how do you vote on the agenda, accepting the agenda as corrected?
Aye.
Trustee
Fellow
O'Neill.
trustees? Oh,
Aye.
is it?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Unanimous vote, thank you. You keep it as in line.
I'm not ashamed to come.
I'd like to, so I don't get the mic sign, I'm pulling this up close. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. We have nothing to report from closed session. The next item on the agenda is public comments. Persons who wish to speak to the board on any item may do so at this time. There's a time limit of 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic unless further time is granted by the board. Your comments will be timed and you'll be asked to stop speaking when the timer sounds. I have one such request from, I'm sure I will misspell this, but mispronounce this, but it's Betty Belusk. Beluski. Why do we have an E? Okay. Betty? So, Betty, all the years I've heard your name, I've always imagined... Oh, I've always imagined that that name had an E on it. Okay, so... So pronounce it for me, please.
Betty Beluski.
Beluski. Okay, I see. I hear an E there. So.
Can I sit down?
Sure, please.
As you can tell, I just got back from curriculum.
Excellent.
And it's Casual Friday, so we're
Yes.
okay, I don't normally come to these board meetings except for when it's time to do a pronouncement of one of the nursing weeks or something very positive. But I did have an email come across my desk yesterday that gave me some concern, and I did think that maybe this was a place to address it. What I saw in my email was that there were going to be 4 more new positions for chairs for committee members of full-time faculty, and then I'm sure they then offer it to adjunct faculties. But this was going to have more release time, one with as much as 60%. As you know, right now we are going through the recovery from the SERP that was offered. We have quite a few retirees. We also have faculty that are involved with kind of a flex time, where in nursing we actually had difficulty getting some of our clinical sites, which thank you so much. I heard you just approved our high desert, so thank you so much for doing that for us so quickly. You can't believe how pleased I am to hear that. That was great to hear. But I am concerned that faculty, in the name of student success, is doing exactly what I think faculty should not be doing, which is being pulled away from the classroom. Student success is when a faculty has as much interaction time with the student as possible. That means in the classroom having a dynamic, having a fun, interactive, maybe technologically enhanced classroom. There's many ways to teach a good class, and I think here at COD we really have some phenomenal faculty, and I absolutely know that because when I saw this email, I gotta talk fast, but when I saw this email, I equated that to the class that I had just taught. And I realized that I had added, we were talking about hyperglycemia, and I had added a little acting skit that I learned in Flex from one of the instructors that actually teaches acting and said how to put that into your classroom. I used technology in my classroom that I learned from Felix when he did his presentation on how to put technology in the classroom. I learned, we did another little, where we did a concept map, and I learned that both from the English department and from Donna Green, who shares so much of the stuff that they do in ECE, because we did it with crayons. And so these are the things. We sit around in round tables. These are what creates a good faculty, not sitting on a committee, not having more release time at a time where we don't have enough faculty to do what we need. I also need to have time to sit in my classroom with my students. You know, I know we have a great counseling, and God bless them. We have Anna Stockwell, who is an angel. She was sent to us straight from heaven. But there's also those things that I need to teach my students. I need to teach them how to study. I want them to bring their textbook and open it up in front of me so I can see what their textbook looks like. Did you highlight the whole thing? I can buy you one in yellow. Or did you actually just write down the things that really matter? So I, as the faculty, need the time to teach them how to do that. And I can only do that if I have a full-time faculty that's sitting in their classrooms teaching the students where they need to be. I would like to see this time and energy spent on creating a very dynamic Flex like we used to have, instead of the Flex being telling us about what committees we should be on and what grants we're getting. Sorry, that's my 3 minutes. So that's where I really would like to see our time spent, is creating more Flex time, getting more faculty in the classroom, and having the priority hiring more faculty. So thank you so much for hearing my concerns. If I sound very passionate about it, I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Yes, Susan. Are we ready for the introductions?
Yes, we are. We have a lot of introductions today of new college employees, and so I'm going to probably ask for some assistance here. And if you can just come up to the front whenever I call your name. We have John Michael Caffrey, our LDS Project Director, Prop 39. Stanley E. Henry, our Interim Director of Security and Emergencies, and also council member and soon-to-be mayor of Cathedral City. Curtis Luttrell, our director of A&R. Guillermo Mendoza, our LDS AB86 project manager. Angela Walton, Executive Administrative Assistant to the President and Board of Trustees. Sandra Shaw, Child Development Specialist. Tessie Cervantes, Admissions and Records Specialist. Antonio Delgado, Custodian. Susan Delgado, Secretary Bilingual, Non-Credit. Alma Lorena Gloria, Payroll Specialist. Gabriela Ortega, Admissions and Records Specialist. Maricela Rosales, Admissions and Records Specialist. Patricia Dana, Administrative Assistant, Institutional Advancement. Dorothy Anderson, Full-Time Faculty, Auto Mechanics. Sarah Butler, Full-Time Faculty, Political Science. Courtney Doucet, Full-Time Faculty, Kinesiology. Chaminda Hetiji, Full-Time Faculty Instructor, Chemistry. Emily Madigan, Full-Time Faculty, Art. Tula Marin, Full-Time Faculty Counselor. Reed Sagara, Full-Time Faculty, English. Raquel Schoenfield, Raquel, Counselor. Anna Stockwell, Full-Time Faculty Counselor. And Alan Ventura, Full-Time Faculty, Fire Tech. Yes, I messed that up. Sorry about that. And former fire chief. Okay, we want to welcome all of you, and then we're going to give you lapel pants too, okay? So.
We're very glad to have you. This is always fun. To watch this lining up is always fun.
What do we do?
They were doing public comments.
Oh, okay.
We missed something?
We missed
All right, everybody ready?
Oh. Okay, fine.
That's why, that's my fault. It's on the agenda, but it's, I didn't put it, didn't have Angela's on there.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Under public comments, Keenan and Associates.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you all very much. Can we say a few words,
Yes, yes.
Trustee?
You may.
I just think it's great that we have so many new hires and so in all areas of the college, and I'd like to welcome everyone. Many of you are starting on a new career, which will last for years and years, and you will affect many people and lead this institution and our community into the future. And as one who was there 20-some years ago, I know how important that is, and we look forward to having you here for many, many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, it was wonderful to have the smiling faces of the incoming class of 2014. With my apologies, I overlooked an item under public comments. Keenan and Associates is here to present a safety award. Yes, John, welcome today.
Thank you. My name is John Rodriguez. I work for Keenan and Associates. And the first thing I'd like to do is thank the board for allowing this brief presentation. On behalf of the statewide educational wrap-up program, construction of the recently completed Child Development Center project started in May 2013. Safety was always a top priority from the top down. And the strong safety efforts resulted in no claims, no workers' comp claims, no general liability claims, no builder's risk claims. What does that mean, everybody here? We didn't hurt anybody, none of the workers, didn't hurt any of the students or the faculty, and we didn't cause any damage to anybody's cars or buildings. And that's pretty special. So on behalf of the Board of Directors for the statewide educational wrap-up program, I am really proud to present these safety award plaques to Oakview constructors. Mr. Eric Christofferson is here to accept that award. And the construction team of EIS Pro, and of course, the Desert Community College District. Eric, you want to come up? Matt McGinnis, are you here? Okay. And I don't know who from the board would like to.
Sure.
Thank you so much. We're always happy when we keep people safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That shows a lot of responsible leadership, and it shows that there was a team effort. When everyone works together and you produce a safe project, then you know that there was a lot of coordination and a lot of thought and a lot of caring. So we thank you for that. We thank those project directors.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I was just curious, is there some place we as a board hang these, or could we suggest maybe that this be in the Child Development Center? I mean,
Yes.
just throwing out ideas here.
It's a good thought, because that is where the good work was done. So
Right.
I think that's be appropriate. Thank you, Michael. Let's see. So going back to the agenda, which I deviated from slightly due to I overlooked something. The next item that we would address would be minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes of the regular meeting of August the 22nd, 2014? Hearing none, they stand as approved. Are there any corrections to the minutes of the Board Development meeting of August the 20th, 2014? Hearing none, they stand approved. So now we're moving to reports. And do we have a representative from ASCOD? Thanks. I always like to let the students go early. I figure they have so much to do that they need their time.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members. Senior administration and distinguished guests, it's very nice to see you all again. The following is a report from ASCOD for this month of September. ASCOD will be having its Welcome Week table next week. Following that will be Club Rush the week after, which will have a circus theme to it this year, so it should be very fun. A few of our members have had the privilege to sit on the shared governance committees here on campus, and they've really enjoyed the experience. We really hope to bring that student voice onto those committees. We've been planning Homecoming Week, so that's something we're looking forward to, as well as a couple other activities for the students. And we've also created a committee to look at the smoking policy committee, the smoking policy. And that committee hopes to initiate the discussion about the policy and regarding the enforcement on campus. And that concludes the report for ASCOD for the month of September. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. When are the events starting next week for the public, for any of
That
the
will
board
be
members?
from 10 to 2 on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thanks. CSEA, Laura?
Good morning, Trustee Brockton, Trustee Stefan, Trustee O'Neill, Trustee Wilson, Trustee Sanchez-Fulton, Student Trustee Campbell, Superintendent President Kinnaman, administration, faculty, staff, students, and esteemed guests. Our association, our chapter, our members, and I thank the board for attentively listening to our concerns and for your strong support in addressing issues we are facing in these times. Your role as elected representatives is critical in shepherding the district through times of tremendous change as we prepare to grow into the institution this valley and its students' needs and demands. CSEA offers our congratulations to Trustee Brockton, your long-standing exemplary commitment to the students of the district and your constituents in the East Valley. And yes, every time we hear about the East Valley, we know who has caused that to happen, are reflected in that you are running unopposed for your seat. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
CSEA also thanks Trustee Aurora Wilson for serving the remainder of Trustee John Marmon's term as appointed by this board. Thank you. And thank you for throwing your hat in the ring even after experiencing the demands that the role of trustee places on each of you. Thank you. I also would like to recognize Mr. Michael McCabe and Mr. Matthew Monica and applaud these two candidates for their attendance at this board meeting as well. CSEA takes very seriously our relationship with the Board of Trustees. To that end, CSEA has created a seminar that we will offer to trustees and trustees-elect in the Coachella Valley, as well as school board members. The seminar will be of great value to incoming trustees and school board members and even seasoned members, as it will offer another perspective from the education typically offered to trustees. CSEA will ask candidates to board seats to commit to attending these seminars as a condition of our endorsement. Of course, the Brown Act limits attendance to these seminars to 2 currently sitting members, and we will certainly abide by that. We believe that it is our obligation to support you as trustees as you fulfill the trust the voters of this valley place on you. We have taken great pride in the past in supporting Trustee Marmon when he first ran, and we are so thankful for the legacy that he has left, because he certainly was one that was out there for the community and for the students, and also our support of Trustee Bonnie Stefan. So this is where we are with the board. Now, as far as where we are with the matters that are so important to CSEA members, we are still currently doing our very best to address the issues that have concerned members through this summer. We have great expectations and hope that we will be able to conclude negotiations. These have stalled in many ways. We are beginning the process to realign and to do what is necessary. We have asked to negotiate in good faith. We received meeting opportunity to do just that. And I do want to thank Dr. Kinnaman for coming and to beginning the problem-solving process we did. Understand it to be a negotiation session, and it really was more of let's get back into what things are. It has been a really difficult transition, and I must say, and in case Stan is out there, we really miss you, Stan. We're in a state of flux that has created grave concerns for us. We're hopeful that, again, with the support of the board, that we will get through this time, and we are working with Dr. Kinnaman, with RVPs as well, to try to address the issues that are of great concern. We're currently working with, again, with Dr. Kinnaman's support to address the issue of the 10 positions that were left vacant because of the early retirement program. Those, however, have still not been completely addressed. During our look at those positions, there are still some issues that need to be addressed, and we really need to look for getting those settled so that we can get people in place to support our students. We're hopeful, again, I hope to continue to report to you that we're making progress, and I hope that we can work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We had a note from the foundation that no one was able to attend. Is that, or did, oh, Donna Jean, are you going to give a report? Yes. So much for my note.
I guess I'm kind of unofficial today from the foundation.
I think we'll accept you anyway.
I just wanted to respond to it's great to be back, and wanted to let you know that the foundation staff spent the summer 24/7 working to get our act together to prepare for you. The audit report will be ready for the trustees' approval very soon. The scheduling of the foundation events, meetings, along with all college events are available, and we have prepared for all of you and the community not only the schedule of your meetings, our meetings, college events, athletic events, etc., and this will be available to all of you sooner rather than later. Looking forward to another outstanding fundraising year. As you know, we had a rather successful year last year. Looking for our students with more collaboration and communication with the trustees, COD staff, and faculty.
Thank you, Donna Jean, and you are the master of understatement. We did have an unforgettable summer, didn't we? Academic Senate.
Good morning. Normally I wouldn't wear this, but we have our big 5-year NATEF recertification today. So I'm dressing for success over there.
Yes.
Okay. Anything it takes, you know.
Yes, right.
But we won't get into that. Where to start? This is our greatest issue. We're being pressured from within and from without to change. From the state, from the federal government, from the students, from the faculty, from the administration. And some of the changes must happen more quickly than the college is used to. With this in mind, we must continue to improve communication. I want to thank Ms. Davies and many others for working with the Senate to develop a master calendar to better facilitate communication. I've called for a regular meeting with the faculty presidents, all the union presidents, and the Senate president as a step to improve communication amongst faculty and staff. President Kinnaman has instituted and is excited about regular town hall meetings, so are we. The first of which will have September 23rd to discuss the SSSP plan and budget, as well as the Global Student Success Plan. These are all good steps. So the work to be done: student success, hiring, reorganizing, updating, and establishing policies and procedures. The details in each of these areas are endless. We must not lose sight of the global plan as we dive into the details. The Senate has been asked to participate in many areas, and I appreciate that. But our input must be reflective of the global plan. The driving force is student success. But we have to define what the overall student success plan is for College of the Desert. Without doing so, we build it as we go and make decisions that may or may not support the final solidified plan. To the point, I would suggest that the college is in a position of providing input and making decisions without clearly defining and understanding the overall plan. The tyranny of the urgent is driving us to act without a clear plan. Every decision we make must answer, does this support the global student success plan? I refer back to a statement I made in the August Board of Trustee meetings. It was written, I wasn't here. This is a pivotal time. We have the opportunity through the hiring of multiple full-time faculty and our enrollment management to look into the future and reshape, refocus this college, who we are, what we are known for. We need to grow FTES. We need to set goals and objectives for degree and certificate completion. We need to identify and create new programs. We need to strengthen current programs. What will this college look like in the next 5, 10, 15 years? Now's the time to decide. Where to start? We need to build a detailed global student success plan to anchor our decision making. We have a good start with the president's and board's goals. We now need to build the details. The thought that keeps me optimistic is knowing we have great people here at the college. At the end of the day, it isn't the plan, it isn't the policy or procedure. It's the passion and compassion of those who work and execute those plans, policies, and procedures. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support of the faculty at College of the Desert.
Thank you, Douglas.
Thank you, Doug.
We've reached 11 o'clock, and as we announced at the beginning of this meeting, the security report is scheduled for this time. So if I could break into this agenda and insert this, I would appreciate it.
Trustee Bratton, may I ask how
Yes.
long that will be? Because I have some faculty who have come from their various disciplines to be honored today and expected. I'm just trying to get a time.
A time, and I'm looking to see what the presentation time.
Stan, how long are you?
10, 15 minutes.
Does that work?
It's a little bit challenging. Chef has a class and Jeff has lots of.
Okay, so why don't we insert you here and you do your report? Is that what you are asking?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you, if with our, let's change that then. Let Denise give her report. We know that's a timed report, so to speak, and we can have a chance to say thank you to those faculty members, and then we'll have our security report. So come on forward, Denise. And
Okay, thank you. And at this time, I'd like to invite Chef Benno, Tony Manzoni, Steve Dostal, and Jeff Place.
I thought they'd just come because they wanted to be at the meeting.
And
I
they
am
are
so
sporting
disappointed.
Different hats.
I did notice the hat. That adds a certain amount of class to this. Yes, yes.
Wow. Yeah, we're getting a picture of this fine group. Ladies and gentlemen of the College of the COD District and the Board of Trustees, this academic year, the Faculty Association celebrates its 40th year. And we can think of absolutely no better way to kick off all our celebrations this year than by honoring some of the faculty with longevity. Okay, and although Jeff doesn't believe me, I have a document that says he came on board in 1976. I'd like to introduce you to Jeff Place.
It lies. He's not that old.
I'll accept this recognition as long as I can also insert in there 1968 when I first became a student here.
For all that you do for College of the Desert, the students, the community, thank you, Jeff, for all your years of service.
Thank you very much. Just one quick statement. It's all about student success, but to tell you the truth, I'm living a dream. So, I'm having a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
And in case you couldn't tell by what he's sporting, this is our very own Steve Chef Benno, who has been with us since 1985 in a signature culinary program.
Yes.
For all that you do, Chef.
I forgot the cookies.
Okay, and this is Tony Manzoni, who has been here since 1985, PGA Pro golfer who is absolutely responsible for one fabulous signature program in golf. Tony, for all that you do, thank you.
It's really been an honor for me to be here, and I hope to continue, Lord willing. And I've had such a great association with the foundation at the college when we set out to build a golf facility that houses our golf management program, the only one in the United States, and our golf team has won the conference championship 27 years in a row.
That's
Which is
huge county.
Thank you.
And not to be forgotten are the things that are what would we call them? The P's and Q's, sort of what you and I do in English and mathematics, is math professor Steve Dostal, who has also been with us since 1985.
Thanks a lot for the recognition. Being a teacher is being a teacher. I was a coach here as well, but to me they're kind of similar things. But it's a great opportunity. You get to be around kids. You know, at the community college level, I think is the best level because it's not about trying to publish stuff or in high schools you got discipline. When you're at the community college level, you got a great bunch of people to be around. You know, that helps keep you young, and it's a great job. I'm always learning myself, so, you know, I hope it can continue to be that great of a job. I think the community colleges of California they're unprecedented around the world. And so, you know, and they've done a lot of things for me, and I just hope we can keep doing those things for folks, and you know, think about the future, because when you help people, you know, that helps the country and that helps the state. So I appreciate that.
You will be meeting some more of our, and I'm very careful with this word, longevity, right?
That's very
I'm
good.
not saying senior faculty, okay? I'm in that group too. But longevity, these are signature programs and longevity faculty, been with us for decades. We cannot thank you enough, but we'll try and reflect that in your paychecks. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for all you do. Okay, and because my report to the board today is lengthy, I have provided you a packet. I will give you the brief highlights on it as an outline, but I do encourage you to read it thoroughly. I think that's just one. Thank you. Okay, among the topics in your just brief outline will be I'll just give you the outline ones. The ALS Challenge fundraiser that Pam Hunter has so spearheaded. We're going to have fun throwing some buckets of ice on each other. It has been mentioned by CSEA, and I want to extend to the board that we will be, all the associations, including ASCOT, will be sponsoring a Board of Trustees candidate forum. The official invitation and announcement will be going out next week. The association has also included information about grievances and violations of contract, of which there are numerous. The association has also included information about student access, use of adjuncts, and use of full-time faculty. The association has also included an update about bargaining, which unfortunately is not going well. I've used my time. I thank you very much for your consideration today.
Thank you. Our safety report.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to come to your meeting and give an update on the security department. As you know, I've only been here 2 months. It's been a great 2 months. Give you a little history of myself. I've got about 33 years in law enforcement. Out of that, 15 of those years was chief of police at Cathedral City. I've been an adjunct faculty member here for, I think, about 20 years. Started back in 1994. And back in 1986, I was a student here. So I've got a lot of history with College of the Desert and appreciate the opportunity to be your interim director of security. So thank you. Just give you a brief rundown of the security department. It's small, but does a great job. We've got a director of security, 1 lead security officer, 6 full-time officers, 9 part-time, and then we have a group of on-call. So that if we need to do something like a football game, or we have an extra activity, or we have somebody that needs some time off or something, we have those on-call persons. Here at the Palm Desert campus, we are here 24/7. So there is a security person that is on duty every day, including holidays. At the Indio campus, we're there from the start of the campus at 7 o'clock until everybody leaves at the end. So most classes are done by 10 o'clock, so around 10:30 or so, the staff locks everything up and is on their way. At the Mecca Thermal campus, these are hybrids. They do a whole host of duties, including security, maintenance, and that, and we're there from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 at night, again, until all the students leave. Like I said, we have what I've found in the last 2 months is you have a great staff. You've got people that have a whole host of experience and knowledge and base here. They will do anything from make sure that somebody gets to their car safely to handling a person that is disruptive in either a classroom or anywhere else. Got a couple of pictures of those that are there. I would like to introduce the staff that is working today. So they're in the back of the class. They're, you know, yeah. We have John Williams, Jean Wagner, and Amanda Wasson. She's the newest one that has just started, but she's here. Like I said, we've got great staff at all 3 of the campuses, and they do a fantastic job of making sure that not only is the campus safe, but any need that is there that from faculty, staff, or the students is taken care of. Just as an FYI, I want to make sure that you do understand the numbers. Call security if you have any issue that is out there. You can either reach us by a phone that is within the campus at 2111 or the outside line of 341-2111. If it's an emergency, dial 911. What that does is we've got a system that is set up to where if you dial 911, not only will it go to the law enforcement or the fire department, it will also come here to the security staff. One of the things you need to remember is we're a large area, and not only do the law enforcement personnel, the sheriff's department, or the fire department, they don't necessarily know where every building is. So we quite often have to direct them in to wherever that issue is. So it is encompassed to make sure that we do get notified so that we can help get them there as quickly as possible. So we do that. Also, if you have electrical problems, gas leaks, water leaks, air conditioning, you name it, we handle it. So make sure that we can call us. We may not be the person that fixes it, but we do know who that is to call and to make sure that it is getting taken care of. I put the campus population up there just to let you know we are a small city. Give you just as a comparison, when I started in Cathedral City back in 1984, our population was 10,000. College of the Desert has surpassed that already when you plan all of those, all the campuses we have here. So we are just like any other municipality. We are a small city. The advantage we have, and I'll get to it a little bit later, is we don't have a lot of the issues that that any city has. And that is because of the procedures that we have in place, the staff that we have in place, and people are coming here to learn, and so that. One of the issues that I hear and I've heard for the last couple of months is parking and traffic. So we've issued 6,000 parking permits. So there's a lot of people that are coming on campus and that are coming here, and they're using the mass transit along with their own vehicles and stuff. So we developed some stuff to help that, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So what does the public safety or the security department do for you? Well, one of the things that I've tried to initiate in the last 2 months, and I know that the predecessors have also done it, is we have a very strong emphasis on customer service. The students, the staff, and the faculty are our customers. We need to make sure that we take care of whatever those issues are, and this is kind of our mantra of how we're going to do that and what we believe in to make sure that those things happen. The one thing I want to make sure is the hallmark of our service is a constant dedication to the principle of honesty, integrity, fairness, courage, and courtesy. Like I said, our main goal is to say yes when you have a problem, and we can handle that. So we are here as your person to take care of whatever those needs are that you have. Along with that, we have some mandates that we have to make sure that we take care of. Clery mandates, state mandates, federal mandates, so that if there is an issue that happens on campus or happens in the vicinity of the campus, we need to know what that is so that we make sure that we handle those mandates, make sure that we do the proper reporting, and we'll talk about the Clery reporting in a minute, but get that reporting. And we have a very, very, very great relationship with the public safety departments, the fire and the police department here, not only on the Palm Desert campus, the Palm Springs campus, and the Indio campus, and the Sheriff's Department down on the Mecca Thermal campus. We do a very good job in working with them and making sure that if they hear something and we don't get it, they will let us know, and vice versa, we let them know those same things. But it is encompassed. Sometimes people say, oh, well, somebody just broke into my car. I'm not going to ever find anything, so I'm not going to report it. We need to know those things, because if we don't know that, then we don't know what the issues are, and if we don't know what the issues are, we don't know how to deal with them. So we want to make sure that we can deal with them and do those things appropriately. So it is encompassed that we do get notified of all of those things. So you ask, what do? We are a very active department. Small staff, but very active. I think the Navy, and the Army says an army of one. Well, we're a department of one because we all work together and we work very, very hard. Like I said, there's a whole host of things everywhere from making sure the campus is secure, first aid. We have a bunch of alarm systems that we have to monitor, the fire alarm systems and that. But like I said, our goal is to make sure that we meet every one of your needs and we handle every issue that is brought to us on campus. Not only the Palm Desert campus, Indio campus, Mecca Thermal campus, all of those. Like I said, it's been an exciting first 2 months. It's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. And again, I have to commend the staff. I ask a lot of why, and they have an answer every time. They do that. So some of the accomplishments that we've had in the last couple of months, I don't know if you're on campus the first week of school, but we developed a parking and traffic plan. I think that it went very well, not only letting the students know where they needed to go to park, but also how to get there safely. So we did a very good job. I have to commend the staff, for they're the ones, they have the history, and they are the ones that told me, okay, here's the problems that we've had. Then we've talked about how do we fix those. We added some additional temporary signage, wanted to make sure that everybody was parking in the right spots and they got there safely. That was a great job. We completed the annual security report, the Clary report, redesigned a security controls for home football games. One of the things when I met with the athletic department is they said that the fans were too close to the field, and that caused some disruptions and stuff. So we sat down and we worked with them, and we came up with a plan. And the last football game, I think it worked very, very well. We redesigned an emergency notification flyer, and that's in your packet there. That flyer, our goal is to get that in the hands of every student. One of the ways that we want to make sure that if there is an issue on campus, they need to know about it. And so we want to make sure that they utilize the systems that we have, because we have some great systems. We've updated the emergency response guide for faculty and staff. We've updated the emergency procedure guide for all the classrooms. We're implementing smartphones for better utilization of technology for the officers in the field, so that we don't have to necessarily always go back to the office and say, here's to get to something, so we have that. We've upgraded the maintenance protocols for our golf cart fleets, reviewed and streamlined the timesheet process with payroll. Some of those back office things that we need to make sure that get taken care of. We want to make sure that our officers get paid. We've implemented a new scheduling system, and we're currently recruiting a student worker in the security department to help some of the administrative staff that we have there. Along with that, we've completed some training. We've got Clary training, Campus Security Authority training. We've done that was a webinar we did for the security staff. We did emergency preparedness training for the flex faculty, and we did 3 classes for the deans and administrators. One of our officers attended the California Emergency Services Association conference that was held here in Indian Wells. We've got some training that is scheduled that's going to go on. Obviously, we have to make sure that we keep updated on first aid and CPR, so we're going to make sure that we do that. February is a Safe Schools conference in Rancho Mirage. We're going to take advantage of that and not having to ship somebody somewhere. We have it local, so we're going to take care of that. We're doing an interviewing and interrogation 2-day seminar with some of our officers. We've got Clary training for all our officers. It's more than just this webinar. It's an actual in-depth training that we want to make sure that everybody understands that. Clary Campus Training Authority webinar for the deans and administrators. I've got that. That hasn't come out yet. I've just got to get the email to them and make sure that that happens. Also in February, we've got a Clary conference, and so we're going to do that. And we have the ongoing AB 1626 training. That's the security campus officer training, so we need to make sure that we're keeping it going with those things. Current projects. Again, we've updating and looking at our campus radio systems. We're looking at an updated parking plan, coordinating an installation of a campus-wide lockdown system, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Reviewing our parking permits and automation of our citations. Again, my goal is to help. We have a limited staff, not only in the police department, the bursar's office, security department. I'm used to one thing. Security department, bursar's office, and other administrative staff. Try to eliminate some of that, the back office thing. So if we can get some automation and stuff, then it'll help save the staff and let them be able to do some other type of things. We're working with Carlos on an online reporting system. They've got a very good system. We're working on that. We're reviewing data on a district-wide camera system. We're reviewing and updating our annual security department budget, and reviewing an expansion of an AED program. So I'm working with the training staff over at the, I just lost the word, athletics department to work on that. Again, I want to talk a little bit about the campus lockdown system. I have to commend the board because you have made some great decisions. You purchased several years ago a automated computerized lockdown system. So thank you for doing that, because you're on the cutting edge. And there's some legislation that came back out in 2011 that said that it doesn't necessarily affect community colleges because it affects the K through 12, but I can very easily see that we're on the horizon. So you guys are already ahead of the game in making sure that any new building has that electronic lockdown system so that a faculty member can lock down a room. One of the things that we're looking at and we need to do is what do we do with the buildings and the rooms that are the older rooms? And we're evaluating some mechanical systems to that. Make sure that the faculty can do it. A student, if they need to, if there was some type of an issue, a student could do those and lock those things down. So we're evaluating those, and we're working on that. But again, you've done a fantastic job of pre-planning, so thank you for doing that, and there'll be more coming about that. The annual security report, or the Clery report. 2 months ago, I didn't know what a Clery report was. I'm not quite an expert yet, but I'm getting there. But we do have some experts that are on the security department, and they told me that we had to have an annual security report done by October 1st. And I'm like, how the heck are you going to do that? I have to give all the accolades to them. They have done a fantastic job. Pam Berkey took this along with Bobby Weigel and Brian Kephart, and they put together a fantastic annual security report. It is, it should be online under the security department. If it isn't already, it should be there. We do have some hard copies if we need those, and I think you either got one online or you got the hard copy. But they did a great job. You ask, how safe are we? Like I said, we're a small city, but we don't have the problems that cities have. We are very safe. And I just wanted to put this up there as an illustration. If I were to put a graph chart or something like that, one incident would skew the thing 100% because we have very, very few. And we have 3 years. We've done a great job. You know, you get something 1, 2, something like that. But over the years, it's been very, very good. And I have to commend the security staff for that. They are out there every day. They take their job very serious. They are working very hard to make sure that we have a safe campus. And we do have a very safe campus. You ask, how safe? When you compare it to some of the other community college campuses, and again, I didn't want to put a graph up there because one thing would make it look really different. So Riverside Community College, we're about the same. San Marcos Community College, we're about the same. Chaffee Community College, we're about the same. San Bernardino Community College, we're a little better. San Marcos Community College, one incident made us a little worse. But so that's what I said. I didn't want to put those things, but that's just kind of how it is. And again, they're doing a very, very good job. The reportable incidences are 1, 2, 3. The ones that are a little bit higher are petty thefts and things like that. Part of that is, again, being in the office for the last 2 months, we have a lot of kids coming in and saying, I lost my notebook, I lost my backpack, I forgot this. Some of those are thefts, and we have to take care of them because they don't necessarily get turned into them. But that's about the biggest issue that we have. So where do we go from here? Recommendations. We need to develop a definitive policy on campus lockdowns. And you think campus lockdown, it's flip a switch, the whole campus gets locked down. There is more to it than that. Do you lock down a room? What is the procedure to lock down a room? Do you lock down a building? Do you lock down a set of buildings? Or do you lock down the whole campus together? Those are the things that we need to be able to fine tune. And then we need to be able to get that information out to the faculty and to the staff so that they understand that if there's an issue, not only do they have the ability to lock down a room or a set of rooms or a building, why to do it and how to do it and where to go to do it. So it's not just flip a switch, lock the whole thing down. There's a lot more to it. You need to continue with the new locks in the new buildings and the retrofitted buildings. Like I said, you've got a great system. I met with the hardware vendors and the software vendors this last week. The system that you have will take you to the future. If there's some upgrades or stuff, they'll be able to do stuff, but the main system will take you to the future. Again, what we need to do is we need to install and enhance the current locking software for lockdowns. There are some abilities that we have with some extras to be able to, like I said, lock down a building, lock down a set of rooms, lock down a portion of the campus or the campus altogether. So we need to enhance those things, and that's a software issue that we're going to have to deal with. We need to install mechanical lockdown devices on the older rooms. It's too costly to do it a retrofit with the electronic system. So there are some other systems out there, and we need to evaluate those and come up with a system and do those. We're looking at upgraded radio system to enable district-wide communications. That's not so much for the day-to-day issues, but what happens if we had an earthquake and we need to talk to India, or we need to talk to Mecca Thermal? Currently, the system we have is a good system. They did a great job of installing it, but we need to have some mechanisms, and there are some out there today to get there. One of the things, I came from a world that you want to be able to know who you're talking to, both faculty and staff and the students. So we need to look at a photo ID system for students and staff. And then we're working on preparing a program review update for the departmental budget. So not only have we done some good things, we have some things that we need to work on, and we'll get there. Are there any questions?
Stan, first of all, I want to thank you for putting this awesome report together. The safety of our students, our faculty and staff is and we are committed to their safety. So first of all, I want to thank you for a phenomenal report. Also want to address, are we addressing the issues of emergency supplies in case of an earthquake shutdown? Do we have any supplies for our faculty, staff, or student if an earthquake happens here?
Yes, we have some limited supplies, but we do. We have a room in the security department that is stocked with some emergency supplies, waters, and some other things. So we already have that. Do we need to maybe enhance that a little bit? We may, but we do have that already. So we're already there.
So we're good.
Yeah.
The second question, the blue lights, I've been asking this since I've just got on the board. When people walk around campus, a lot of the universities and community college have a blue button that we pressed. I went to the Indio campus and it wasn't working. Are we still looking at all the blue?
I think the bond department is still evaluating that, and that's a two-edged sword.
Right.
And there is some issues that we need to make sure that we deal with, both with the Sheriff's Department and Indio Police Department on those things, and so we're still evaluating that.
I can respond to that a bit. The Indio blue light has not been installed because there isn't a receptive person on the other end. So instead of having it go to a person that's not going to be able to help you, we've chosen not to activate it until that system is manned.
Thank you.
I have some questions, Stan.
Sure.
You have so many titles, you don't mind if I call you Stan, do you?
Okay. I prefer that.
Okay, thank you. In your hard copy report, which, by the way, is excellent, thank you. You were talking about the numbers being skewed very easily.
Yes.
As we expand, we will be having and are having more public property exposure.
Yes.
How does that impact us negative? Can that negatively impact our reporting and skew our numbers?
Yes, it
severely?
can. One of the things that we need to, what the requirements of Clery is, not only do you have to report incidences on campus, but you have to report incidences that are in the vicinity. If, for instance, a student is at the bus stop across the street on Monterey and somebody goes by and steals their backpack, that is actually a Clery reporting thing. So those things we do need to make sure that we do. And that's how we work with the Sheriff's Department and Indio Police Department and actually Palm Springs Police Department. We actually even work with Cathedral City Police Department because we have some classes that are at Cathedral City High School. They give us those numbers. We evaluate to see if those are something that was just somebody else or a student, and then we do put those into our Clery. That's why in one of the columns you have other areas that are not necessarily campus, but they're associated to the campus.
So to affect our report, it would have to be a student involved?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That was one of my concerns,
Yes.
because we could have crime happening around,
Absolutely.
but it's not our problem, and it's
Yes.
not our...
Unless it's a person on campus, wouldn't not necessarily be a student, but say a visitor came to campus and got their vehicle broken into. That's an on-campus reportable thing. But if it happened at the bus stop unless it's a student or somebody that's associated with the campus, it's not a reportable thing.
Okay, great. With regard to our wonderful current lockdown system, I know some of us need to thank John Mormon.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Because he was our big motivator on that. So while the board participated, we really need to thank John for pushing that. With regard to the district-wide camera system, I've been watching that story of the young lady in Virginia who's missing right now, and it seemed like everybody had a camera because they have pictures of her from 9 o'clock in the evening till 1:30 in the morning. Is that effective? Is that something the board should be working toward?
I think what we need to do is we need to evaluate what's out there first. Let us do that and then come back to you with a recommendation. One of the things you don't want to oversaturate because you spend too much money, but you need to make sure that it's effective, and then you want to make sure that is it motion censored to where you've got motion. Otherwise, being a person doing investigations where we've had like I said, a camera at a convenience store and having to sit there and go through hours of watching nothing because they tape 24/7 is hard. So you want to look at those type of systems, motion censored. How long do you want to keep it for? And all of that. So we've got some work ahead of us, staff does, before we would bring something back to you and say, here's what we recommend to do.
And I think it's my last question. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, what you demonstrated? I went to your Flex activity, which was excellent also. And you talked about that door lock thing. Do you want to show that to the board?
Sure.
Because I think it's the quick
There are a whole bunch of devices out there. Right now, I'm leaning towards this one. It's called the Anchorman. I brought another one because this one goes over the openers and closers. Problem with this, a handicapped person may not be able to reach it. A smaller person may not be able to reach it. And we have students and stuff, so there's a little bit of an issue with that. This is an Anchorman. It was developed by LA County Sheriff SWAT team members, along with a engineer that does mechanical engineering and stuff. It goes on the inside of a door, and one of the problems you have when you have an emergency is your fine motor skills get really hard to do. And try putting a key in a lock or any of those things, you're not going to be able to do it. This uses gross motor skills. All you do, and it's not made to be done by a hand, but you just push down on it, you step on it, it locks the door. The advantage to this is they've also developed a tool. One of the things that we want to be able to do is security or the first responders want to make sure that they can get back into the place. So there's a tool, you hit the button, and it opens up the door so that we can get back into it. So it's kind of where I'm leaning towards. I need to do a little bit more evaluation on things, but again, we want to make sure that those that need to be inside are safe. Those that are outside, first responders that need to get inside have the ability to do that, not without having to knock on the door and say, "Can you please open the door?" We want to make sure that that we have the ability to be able to do that. So those are some of the things. One of the things I said, as you do retrofit older buildings or the locking systems, the older ones there's no parts for them or anything. Just put the new ones on, and eventually these will go away, or something like this will go away because you will have that electronic locking device.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Stan, I thought maybe you would mention the upcoming conference.
There's a Clary conference that we're hosting at Indian Wells. It's in February, and it's everybody from all throughout the country is coming here. We'll be able to not only showcase College of the Desert, but the Coachella Valley. And they are coming here. Bobby Weigel has been the lead person on that. She's done a fantastic job on making sure that that gets done.
Isn't there a walk a mile?
She is putting together a walk a mile in her shoes. It's a thing with domestic violence. That will also, I believe, be in February. And she's trying to get volunteers to walk with her. We're going to probably do... I don't know if it'll quite be a mile. I've done it in the past, and I applied. you women.
Stan, can you explain?
What it is it's it's a kind of showing how be in their shoes, the victims of domestic violence, and some of the sufferings and stuff that they have to do. So we are going to have high heels up to the size of 14. So if you would put a pair on and walk a mile in her shoes, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Mr. Henry, I have two things. I'm just wondering if you guys are taking a look at the enforcement of the smoking policy, if that's something that you guys are working on.
Lisa Howell has asked me to look into that. I believe there's a Senate committee or SE.
College Planning Council.
Yeah.
We'll actually be doing a presentation, just an update of what is currently in place and where the smoking areas are. We also have collected data from other colleges throughout California. And be looking at that. We're going to be sharing it with Carlos and the student ASCOT committee that's looking at it as well. So,
okay, thank you. And then the second thing is, I was wondering if there's any policies or procedures regarding hit and runs that happen here on campus.
We take a report, and if the person wants a report from the Sheriff's Department, we'll either contact the Sheriff's Department and have them come here based off of their call activity. I do know that if it's a minor hit and run, most of the local law enforcement policies, they've got it to where you can do that online if you need a report for that. But if you notify the security department, we will come and we will take a report. We had 2 the first week of school, and it's people not parking in the parking spots right and that. So, but we will take a report. One of them we did have the Sheriff's Department come out, and another one the individual didn't want that, and so we didn't respond them.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
I have a question, but it's not directed to Stan. So, but it triggered a question in my mind when I read the report, because we're reporting this as the College of the Desert. But should this be reported as the Desert Community College District? This has always been a concern of mine, because we tend to, even if you look at the catalog, the 6 of us, Dr. Kinnaman and the 5 trustees, are listed as the Desert Community College District. And that's who we are sitting here representing. But we tend to blur, and this report is, but this one says college. So I just wondered, when you submit this report, is this submitted as the Desert Community College District? Because now we're expanding.
I'm not 100% sure. I can find out and let you know. I do know when I did some research on some of the other colleges that have numerous campuses, and I'm trying to think back which one it was. San Bernardino, and it was San Bernardino Community College, but then they had broken out some of the different satellite campuses they had. Now, I don't know if they're a similar college district like you, or if it's separate.
They have separate
but I will find out.
I think we are a obviously a single college district, and the Clear report encompasses entire, so it should be district, the Desert Community College District.
Okay.
Because we tend to muddle that, and I'm not sure it's a good idea sometimes.
It's the name, I think, that we're referring to. Yeah,
and we can
right, we just need to be sure that we're filing it appropriately, because I think there's very little question as to whether those 2 entities are the same, but sometimes legally that little hair is an important one to spot.
And it's an issue with me, because when I was in San Francisco, it was the city and county, and some days I was functioning as a county person, and some days I was functioning as a city person. So, and it makes a difference when you do different activities, and that's why I wanted to make sure we're reporting correctly.
And I believe the report filing is actually online, so it's sent to us, and we just respond.
Okay.
So I think from that standpoint, we're good. But
the actual reporting to the federal government is just the statistical portion. It isn't the booklet portion or anything. It's just, we do that. It's similar to the FBI, crime stats that a municipality does, and it's all done online. The requirements of publishing the procedures and the policies and stuff is different than the actual reporting.
This is excellent. I hope we have copies.
Yes, we do.
Oh, great.
Just want to mention the importance. I think this report and campus security for our faculty is very critical, and our commitment to safety. I'd like to always get maybe an update from you, maybe every President Kinnaman, every 6, just to know where we're at in our campus safety. So we would love to have you again,
Certainly.
Stan. I hope you can come by and
Sure.
keep us up to date what's going on every 3 months. I don't know what other board members, but keeping our faculty informed, it would
Certainly.
be great. Thank you.
Aurora?
I just wanted to thank you so much for doing the report and making it very thorough. Unfortunately, there's misinformation that's being put out there because the community doesn't know what we have here on campus and what we do offer. So thank you so much for a very thorough report.
And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't look at that alert you that's available to our students and our staff. It's very clearly written in your emergency notification system.
And one of the things I didn't touch on, and I need to work through the faculty is the goal that I have of the security department is a security officer to touch every classroom and to hand out one of those flyers so that every student on campus has it. I met with the staff of the Chaparral. We're going to have it in not this paper, but the next one because I missed the deadline. But it'll be in that. We have it online. And like I said, we're right now setting up a plan to where we can get a security officer at the beginning of each class to go in there, take 2 minutes, and hand out a flyer and get the information out to the students.
I know that after some of the tragedies that have happened on other campuses, that this plan, this alert you type alert system was set up simply to keep colleges like ourselves, to keep the students from coming into a bad situation.
Absolutely.
It helps the security force not have as many problems to deal with, and it gives people a heads up. So I think it's important that we put that word out there because it's very easy in this day and age to send out a text that says campus is closed this afternoon, or classes have reopened at 3, whatever our situation is. So I thank you for putting it there. It is a very easy thing to sign up for, and most of our students are way more techie than we are, so I think they'll take advantage of it. So, but thank you for a very thorough report.
Yes, thank you
We
very
very much appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
David, thank you for your patience.
Well, good morning. I don't have much to say today, and I didn't submit a written report to you. There are really only 2 things I want to comment on. The first is that we had a very successful flex session this semester. Attendance by adjuncts was the highest that I've ever seen. And I believe that's largely due to the positive reaction among adjuncts to our contract negotiations. I got many comments from adjuncts about not only how appreciative they were, but I've heard people say things like, I've taught here for X number of years and I've never really felt like a part of the community, but now I want to get more involved. Now I want to participate. And I think that's a direct result of the results of that contract and what adjuncts view as appreciation for their contribution. So that was the outcome I was hoping for, and I'm hopeful that in the future we will see much more participation among our adjunct faculty and staff in all of the campus and activities outside of the classroom. So I'm very encouraged by that. I also want to thank the members of the board who attended our welcome back session. Your appearance there was very much appreciated, so thank you for doing that. I know everybody was pleased to get Dr. Kinnaman's email about the increase in enrollment, the increase in class sections that were being offered, and the new hires of faculty, and that was good news all around. But if I can rain on that parade a little bit, once again, I am reporting to you, as I have for 3 years now, on the number of students I had to turn away on the first day of class. So we're making excellent progress, but we still have a long way to go. In my 2 public speaking classes alone, I had to turn away 30 students who wanted to crash it. And that doesn't even count the students on the wait list that I couldn't take. So the demand still exceeds the supply. And, it's very difficult to tell students, no, you can't come in to this class because we're full, because their needs are legitimate. And I'm saddened to see that happen every semester. So we're on the right track, and I'm optimistic that we'll make real good progress in continuing, but we need to offer more classes. It's that simple. So that's all I had to say to you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you so much. And I think Jim, who sat patiently and waited, I think that he just left. But if he comes back, we'll give him a chance. We did have a report, so, from the alumni. Michael, you're doing a special, you're helping today a special way. Would you like to begin these reports, or you want to be the trustee just before me?
I'll go first. Just caught me off guard entirely.
Yeah, I know.
Your segue was just went by
there
me.
There was no segue.
Let's see. First of
all,
all,
it's 10 minutes to 12. I'm thinking, what can we do before lunch?
Yeah, okay. First of all, I'd like to welcome Angela Walton. Thank you for being here, and I'd like to say we're very happy to have you with us. You may not feel that way after today, but we are. And I know that your predecessor, Leanne, can't wait to vacate that position. So, but I want to thank Leanne for all that you have done for us and for me with my 4 or 5 years on the board. So thank you very much. And we will miss you. We will miss you, okay? And who am I going to banter with in emails and texts? Okay, we'll still banter, okay. I do want to extend a congratulations to everyone, I would assume in Lisa Howell's department, with regard to our COD being a winner of the 2014 Energy and Sustainability Award for maximizing Proposition 39 funding for the College of the Desert, one for commissioning projects categories for taking action to reduce energy usage in the multi-agency library. I had to read that because it was just too much to try to remember. And that these efforts will result in a $61,500 a year energy bill saving. So thank you very much.
And I would love to take all that credit, but I do have to compliment Steve Renew, our retired director. He really, his passion was energy conservation, and his efforts led to our receiving of that award.
Well, thank you. Thank you for recognizing Steve. And I want to thank Douglas Redmond. I think Douglas is doing his certification for making that announcement for the whole community. I want to thank, I think Dr. Socio is no longer here.
Yes, she is.
She is here.
She's
Thank you,
behind
Lisa,
the
wherever you are back
She's
there.
over there.
There you are. Thank you for the Flex presentation and the Staff Development Committee. It was another great Flex. And I wasn't able to attend everything that I wanted to, but I was able to attend a few things, which I will comment on. One of the things I do want to mention is that I had the opportunity during Flex I couldn't get in, but was able to walk by the new gym and the new kinesiology building. And I must say, I think we really outdid ourselves. I wanted to thank those architects and everybody on the committee, the staff committee who put that together. It's very impressive, and it blends in. I don't know how many people besides me remember that the original concept was anything on the pad had to resemble what's already on the pad. And that building just fits in. It feels serene when you look at it. It's just really a testament to what we can do, and I really appreciate everyone who had a part in playing to make that so successful. It's really quite impressive when I remember what the locker rooms used to look like, and the chiller was there, and it's like we did a heck of a good job. I do want to remind us, I'm sure Dr. Kinnaman hasn't forgotten, but maybe Lisa wasn't on staff when we talked about this, but we were going to make sure we do something in memoriam there for the rights for the gymnasium and for Bragg Garrow for the pool that's no longer there but buried. And we wanted to do some kind of plaque or something to thank them for all their donations in many years past. As we move forward, we don't want to forget those people who sustained us over many years. As I mentioned, I did get to attend Stan's security presentation, and it was very well done, much of what he talked about here today, but the faculty were very involved in his presentation, and I want to thank the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, some of whom had presented to the board in the past, who also presented at that. It was very, very well done. I also attended the foundation, getting to know the foundation, Peter Sturgeon and Jan Hawkins. It was real well done. It was real short. It was to the point. It was lighthearted, but it gave everyone in attendance the opportunity to get a little information about the foundation and to tie the foundation into the college more, as I know President Donna Jean is sitting there, and that is one of the foundation's goals, and it was a good way to perk up interest on the foundation. They did an outstanding job. You would have been very proud of them, Donna Jean. And I attended Dr. Kinnaman's presentation, which got us into our focused directions for this coming year. Thank you, sir, for a job well done. And I want to thank the foundation again for the welcome back dinner that night at the Willows. It was excellent. It was very well attended, as always. I think we have outgrown that facility, though, because we're a little too big for the room now. It was, yes, yeah, we need to find, maybe the convention center, the way we're going here. It was very well, it was a wonderful evening. And again, Peter and Jan did the drawings. They replaced our own first-year team here of Lisa and Anna. They're moving back, okay. And I'm done? I can't be done. Can I have a few more seconds? Foundation meetings begin again next week, and I will be attending those. The President's Circle meeting on Tuesday and the foundation meetings on Wednesday. And I think I covered everything I wanted to, which takes me to a very unpleasant thing to have to do. Be good. Many of you knew Ken Lamont. He was a faculty member here, and today we're going to adjourn the meeting in Ken's memory. I know that Denise and Joel have planned the bucket dumping, and I just wanted to read some stuff about Ken, and we will adjourn the meeting today in his honor later today. Ken, and I never knew him as Kenneth. I always knew him as Ken. He was never a Kenneth. He was always a Ken. Lamont was the College of the Desert Consular Emeritus, passed away on August 4th, 2014 from ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease in Cottonwood, Arizona. Originally from Minnesota, he traveled Route 66 to California in 1961 and lived at various times in California and Oregon. Ken was hired as a counselor at College of the Desert in 1986. Before retiring in 2006, Ken served in various positions at COD. They included Director of Counseling, Career Center Coordinator, and Academic Senate President, to name just a few. He was also very active in the community and served on the Riverside County Trail Commission. Ken was an active outdoorsman. He loved hiking, camping, kayaking, and often organized hiking and camping events for COD faculty, staff, and administrators. One of his most notable qualities was his commitment to students. He was a staunch advocate for students and developed many programs designed to enhance student success. Upon hearing about Ken's passing, Richard O'Donnell, a retired faculty member and a longtime friend of Ken's, wrote, "Always the teacher, he probed, he cajoled, he enlivened the spirit and interest in learning. Diversity of life whet his appetite to experience challenges of both mind and body. To say he will be missed is wrong, for he is always with us, in our thoughts and memories, and the way we express our lives. In so many ways, he lives on." End quote. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and Ken's many COD friends, and for the thousands of students he positively affected, I want to express our deepest sympathy to Ken's wife, Teresa, his son, Mark, and to his extended family. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Trustee Stefan? No, let's don't do that to you. It's only seconds before 12 o'clock. I am looking down the, for a consensus. I suggest that it's 12 or a few seconds before 12 that we adjourn to our closed session, that we recess, I get the right word there, that we recess to, for our closed session, and we allow the rest of the folks to also enjoy their lunch time. And we will be back, I'm desperately looking here, we will be back at 1:30. Thank you so much. Order, we did some work during lunch, and we have three exactly, items to report out. Let me read these appropriately. In closed session, a motion was made by Trustee O'Neill and seconded by Trustee Stefan to authorize President Kinnaman to enter into an employment agreement to appoint Diane Worth as the acting Executive Director of Human Resources and Labor Relations, effective September the 8th, 2014. The motion was carried with 5 members voting, 5 voting in favor, and none voting opposed. The second item was a motion was made by Trustee Stefan and seconded by Trustee Wilson to authorize President Kinnaman to enter into the employment agreement to appoint Danielle Kroll as the Director of Library and Learning Resources. A motion carried with 5 members voting in favor and no members voting opposed. The third item is in closed session. A motion was made by Trustee Wilson, seconded by Trustee O'Neill. My school teacher scribble came through there. Let me start that again. In closed session, a motion was made by Trustee Wilson, seconded by Trustee O'Neill, to approve the collective bargaining agreement as depicted in the tentative settlement agreement between the Desert Community College District and the College of the Desert Adjunct Association for the term July the 1st, 2014 through June the 30th, 2017. The motion carried with 5 members voting in favor and no members voting opposed. That is, the motion carried 5-0. Thank you. We will go back to our agenda where we left off, and Trustee Stefan was about to give us her report.
Okay, I'd like to start off by welcoming everybody back to a new school year. This year, I tried to attend as many flex activities as I could, but I noticed that there were not as many evening activities besides the parties. Ooh, how exciting. But do you know that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night there were parties going on? And I attended all of those. Man, that makes me sound terrible, doesn't it? But Thursday, I was able to attend one of the flex sessions. It was the language learning labs. And that was an excellent session. And I found out how lucky all of us, not just our students, but our faculty, our staff, everybody here is, that you can go in there and you can actually sit down and learn another language. And there's several languages that they have available. It was initially done for or put together for our students that had to study a foreign language, and also for those students that had to learn English. So they have a variety of languages in there. They have Spanish, Italian, German, Japanese. I didn't see Chinese, but I think they had resources that they could give you a list of places where you could go to get Chinese. But it was fun playing with those things and messing around a little bit and learning about all the opportunities for our students. And you don't have to be enrolled in any of the classes to be able to participate in that lab. And they also set up little groups of students so that they can practice their communication skills, because I know I've studied Spanish many, many times, and I know the first page of the textbook. Don't ask me to carry on a conversation with you. It gets very disjointed. But that enables students to actually learn the language conversationally. Then on Friday evening, I attended the East Valley Center in Indio's Community Leaders Forum. And that was an excellent opportunity to hear from individuals that grew up at the east end of the Coachella Valley. And Trustee Sanchez was there with me. And we heard what it was like growing up, what their difficulties were going to school, not just the community college or college, going away to college, but also K-12. And all of the hardships, all the things that they had to overcome. And although many of us may have had difficult lives growing up, it's very interesting to me to see our faculty and our staff there supporting, just trying to learn more about our students so that they can be a better support for those students. And the community leaders were so great because these are people that came from the Coachella Valley, they went off to school, and they came back to the East Coachella Valley, and that's where they're leaders. And now they're trying to help others get to where they've been able to get to and bring their people up. Which brings me to the next part of my report. Student success. Every year when I start school, I always start school with my students very, very high hopes, and sometimes people tell me I'm just beating my head against a wall. Why are you doing that? Because I'll get there super early, I'll leave super late, because I want everything organized, everything absolutely perfect for my students. And I set a very high bar. And sometimes I get really discouraged the first few weeks because people are telling me, you set the bar too high. Lower it. Well, I don't think I need to lower it. I think I need to keep the bar high. I just have to scaffold more. In other words, make it easier for them to climb up to where I want them to be. And I was going through my documents on my computer at work the other day, and I came across something that I had put together when I started at Amistad let's see, I've been there since 2004, so it'd be 10 years ago. And it was a group of little cards that I had at the middle school, and I put them together into a PowerPoint that was titled Believe and Achieve. And the first one was believe that you can be a success. And I put that on the board, and when my students came in, my remedial reading students, I asked them what it meant. And there wasn't one student that didn't tell me what that meant, that could not tell me what that meant. And it really made me realize that we have to make our schools accessible to our students, and that CAP cannot be our stop sign for student access, whether it's here or anywhere else. Our communities need and they deserve more. And I wanted to relate one teacher that we have, and I hope I'll be given a few more seconds. I'm looking at that clock, getting really nervous. I wanted to relate one story about one of our adjunct faculty that came to see me this last week, and it really made my day, because every year he comes and tells me how packed his classes are and how many students he had to turn away. And he teaches at the Indio Center always. And he used to teach at my school site. And in the past, he's always told me I had to turn 40 to 60 kids away. And this time he told me, I want to thank you because I know I've been grumbling at you, and I know you've said something. And he's told me that Scott Cooper over in the Indio, our off-campus site director, and Dean Bird worked with him, and they got him a very large classroom. He has 76 kids, I believe he said. He only had to turn 16 kids away, and he said, this is my happiest year at COD. Not because, I've got this big classroom, which he loves to teach. He said, but because I could sleep at night, because I didn't have to think of all those faces that I disappointed every night. And he said, yeah, I still disappointed 16 kids, but he said it was so nice being able to take so many students. And that's why I say that, CAP cannot be our stop sign, and I think we're going to have, I hope we're going to have some messages on how we can remedy access to our school site coming up in the future, of what we can do so that we don't have to stop when CAP says stop, because I don't think CAP is it.
Thank you. Thank you. Trustee Sanchez?
Also attended that East Valley Flex schedule, which was very, very informative, very fascinating. I really enjoyed the candid dialogue and conversation we had with our East Valley. We had a professor also from the College of the Desert present, and we also had a student present, and that was very, very instrumental. I thought it was her viewpoint, the student perspective here at the college, and she gave us what were her obstacles here at the College of the Desert. So hearing that from an actual College of the Desert student was very important for me. So I really enjoyed that, and I want to give kudos to Scott for putting that informative panel for our staff. Also wanted to thank another flex schedule that I went to was the one on mental health. It's very critical here at the College of the Desert that we have staff, our psychologists here. A lot of our students suffer from a lot of items in depression, anxiety. It's their first time away from home. At the College of the Desert, we're committed to helping our students, and I really enjoyed that presentation that Professor Lewenstein presented to our faculty. We had a lot of community partners involved, all the resources they brought forth, what is available. So wanted to do maybe sometime, Joel, that we could do something, a study session on the available resources on mental health for our students. I think we need to start talking and all the programs we have available, because a lot of people still don't know what we have available. Thirdly, I really enjoyed that happy at the president's message at Flex. It was really beautiful to see Leanne dancing and our faculty and staff to put on that wonderful video. It was such a joy to bring that positive message throughout our whole campus. I thought that was really wonderful. I want to thank Annie Davis for the student initiative that she put in. It was a lot of our faculty attended that. She discussed a lot of, I attended that workshop as well. Very informative, very insightful. Talking about student success here, the outcomes are basic funding, student equity, culture of evidence and inquiry, knowledge sharing, institutional change. Just a lot of key topics that our community colleges are facing and what we're facing here at the College of the Desert. On September 5th, attended the vocational nurse painting ceremony at the McCollum Theater. It was very beautiful, as always, to see our graduates. Very touching, and what it was so great about it was that everybody was given a flower, and that was very, very symbolic for what are you going to bring. You're all flowers and you all have a gift to bring. Very, very touching. I want to thank everyone involved in putting that special ceremony. On September 8th, I attended the first ASCOD meeting of the year. I welcome back our new and vibrant student leaders that are representing, so just kind of gave them a, get involved. The incitement's in the air. We have new leadership, so it's really great to see that. Then on September 9th, I attended the online trustee leadership ambassador training from the American Association of Community Colleges. I will be attending as the official trustee ambassador for its college leadership Congress training. So I'm very excited to be a trustee ambassador for the American Association of Community Colleges. On September 10th, I attended the RDA Oversight Committee in Desert Hot Springs. And then on September 12th, we had a wonderful Indio Chamber mixer, met with our mayor and fellow councilmen and candidates expressing their genuine support of our Indio campus. What our campus have brought to the east side of the valley is tremendous. Having, as you all may know, that I was a part-time adjunct faculty member, and when we were just in modules with no air conditioning, to have an actual building in the east side of the valley is very critical for the whole Coachella Valley. So I just want to mention that. Also, attended the California Association of Latino Trustee meeting. We had as the vice chair, we are setting up our conference for annual meeting for the California Community College League. So kind of give an update on that. On September 16th, gave a COD update to our local city council in Desert Hot Springs. And then yesterday, September 18th, we had a very successful career readiness trustee chats where we collaborate with Palm Springs Unified, the Family Resource Center of Riverside County. And we're going to be having another one at Desert Hot Springs called Caminos to the University. In translation, steps towards the university. Very awesome. So collaborating with all the parent liaisons of Palm Springs Unified. And we're going to be coming out to Indio very soon with the Desert Sands. So we're kind of coordinating that as well. So welcome everyone to go to those. Then I met with the Palm Springs Unified Superintendent, Christine Anderson, and the chairman of the trustees as well. So here I just want to mention one more. Chairman, is there just one more item? I'm very, very excited when I saw how involved College of the Desert is in our community. We were able to sponsor, and I believe a lot of our professors here and staff participated in something called the Girlfriend Factor. It's an annual event. It was their third annual event that we had here. So I want to thank all the faculty, staff, and the nonprofit Girlfriend Factor. It's a great organization where we mentor young women, and just want to extend to any nonprofit out there, we're always here to be a partner. So it's, just want to kind of give that shout out to them. And that's it. Thank you so much for allowing me the indulgence of going over time. Thank you.
Eleanor, I didn't chat with you to see how your time was today. Are we pressing your time? Do you have a class today, or?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to continue then and let Trustee Wilson go before you give your report. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Also would like to welcome Angela to College of the Desert. I'm sure you're not aware, but Angela also put in for a position at the Coachella Valley Association of Governments, which is my employer. And while she did not make that position, sometimes things happen for a reason. And I'm so pleased to see that she is here at College of the Desert, so welcome. And Leanne, thank you so much. You've been so patient with me as the new trustee and not throwing too many things at me. But thank you so much for working with me, and really appreciate it. And I know you're not that far away. It's been a busy summer out there in the community, meeting with many residents and spreading the good word about College of the Desert, and listening to their comments, and also correcting misinformation that is being put out there about the college. So it's been a very busy summer. I attended the Bond Oversight Committee meeting. Larry Spicer was voted in as the new chair of that committee. And Lisa filled in and gave an excellent presentation regarding the status of our construction projects. There was some really good discussion that took place. And I don't see Tish here, but Tish, is the vice president of ASCOD, was also there representing that committee, so it was good having her representation. And I understand there's going to be some follow-up that's going to be done from the discussion that took place that we're going to have for our next meeting. I was contacted by the City of Indian Wells, and I am the new COD trustee representative for the City of Indian Wells as a redevelopment successor agency, and so they're going to be holding a meeting next week. And also just wanted to briefly talk about the Welcome Back Dinner. Thank you so much to the foundation for the great work. And it was just an excellent event. And it was an opportunity to meet and speak with a number of the faculty that was there. And then the last item is that I'm, continue to increase my involvement in the community. And I am now a new Palm Desert Rotary member. And I am a new ambassador of the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Thank you. Student Trustee Campbell.
Hi, everybody. I plan on attending, coming in early for our meetings. My classes are on Mondays and Wednesdays, so I'm free. And I really enjoyed the fact when I was able to come and get situated. And so it was a little bit easier than coming in later. So I plan on making it earlier with you guys. Let's see. I got stuff I gotta check off. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to welcome 2 new ASCOD members, Erica Espino, who will be serving as our ASCOD secretary, and then a returning ASCOD member, Perla Castro. She's going to be serving as our communication officer. So I just want to say welcome to those individuals. I'd also like to say congratulations to Professor Vita Rossi. She teaches English and reading, 50 and 51. She advanced units beyond her master's degree. And I just wanted to say thank you to her because, she's going to be a great asset to those students who are coming in and testing in those lower level classes. And I had the opportunity to experience her in a class, and she's amazing. Let's see, I also wanted to say goodbye to Cynthia Vasquez. She was serving at COD for about 15 years. I know a lot of students that know her and love her, and so I probably want to say thank you and farewell to her, and we appreciate all her services in the counseling department. I had the honor of attending a few flex workshop classes. They were incredibly interesting, and I enjoyed seeing that the faculty and staff and administration were all there participating. I got to listen to the president's message, Anna Davies' presentation, and how the foundation works, which made a great impression on me. So I really enjoyed those. Earlier in this month, I was contacted by a community member who's interested in donating specifically to the counseling department. And so I sought out the foundation, Pete, because after that flex workshop, I realized that they are the professionals. And so Pete and I took a trip to Palm Springs, and we met with Travis. We had a great meeting with him. He gave me a little homework and research to do, so I've made an appointment with the Dean of Counseling Services and Advising Services, Ms. Phillips, and so I know that she's going to be, very helpful with my research that the community member gave me regarding the counseling department services. I've had a few students meet with me regarding concerns about the soccer field. They feel that they've been neglected as far as the playing field is concerned. They said at times the grass is not mowed and they're out there playing or practicing with the high grass. They feel that if there would be a seating area or possibly some shade, there'd be and more accessibility, that they'd have more of a turnout for people to come watch them play. I have posted my office hours and at the ASCOD doors, so making myself available for students how to contact me and when I will be working in the office. I plan on attending the Coachella Valley Water District, the tour of the Colorado River. The tickets are only $25. It's going to take place October 22nd, so I plan on attending that. And so I want to make one clarification regarding the Ice Bucket Challenge. ASCOD has not taken a position whether they're going to participate or not. But I did express my concerns last meeting regarding this challenge. I find it disturbing that our college has decided to take part in this dare. Just a few hours north, I have family members that have local wells, and they are dried up. That's, Bakersfield, Delano is only about 5 or 6 hours away from here. It's not very far. When I first started taking classes here at COD, I took a plant science class, and I was thinking, great, another general ed class, To my surprise, it was an eye-opener. Professor Huntington taught us about the blue gold, and which is our fresh drinking water. When he spoke about the world's water wars, it just seemed surreal. It's like I couldn't believe this is happening. That was only just 2 years ago. Experiencing a fresh water drought here in California is terrifying to myself. I understand that we have lost a colleague from the counseling department due to this horrible ALS, and I totally support COD donating to his family or to the association. However, I'm opposed to wasting drinking water. I propose that we acknowledge and honor our lost loved ones simply by having a moment of silence, or possibly having a social mixer where students and faculty and staff can come and donate to this cause. And that does conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, one more thing. I'm so sorry.
Sure.
I'm so sorry. I noticed all the brand new recycling bins on campus, and they're nice, they're friendly, they're kind of like, they pop out at you, and I really, really like that. So I think students are going to be using those more. I have two last things, I'm so sorry. I was just wondering, when we're taking a look at the class schedules, like considering the classes to offer, do we look at the SEPs? I'm not sure if someone can get back to me later with that, if we look at SEPs. And then also, I'm wondering whether when a student comes and sees me, I encourage them to crash classes. And then in one of the classes I experienced where it was a professor who, was very, stern. She said, do not crash my class. If you're here to crash, you need to leave. So I'm just wondering, as, the board, do we encourage them to crash or not to crash? And maybe those are things you guys can get back to me later.
So,
Thank you.
Ask this year's board chair, the class crashing question is very important, and it has to do with how those classes are filled and fairness and those things. So if we could have a conversation maybe at the next board meeting or the board meeting after that future agenda item, it is very interesting, and there are reasons that we discourage professors from taking persons that just crash the class as opposed to those on the waiting list.
Okay.
And then you'll have to make your own judgment from there. But okay, but we need to hear. We are scheduling a little bit differently. I'm hoping that need to crash isn't there as much. So let's revisit that.
Thank you.
Which segues nicely into my report. First, I do need to say thank you to all of those involved in the flex opportunities. To have an opportunity for to learn, to visit, to socialize at the beginning of the term starts us off on the right foot. Some of us can attend more and some less, but it's such a wonderful event that I have to say thank you. It's hard work. It takes a lot of coordination. It didn't just happen. Thank you for all of that. Again, the Energy Award that we're receiving, I'm very proud of that. College of the Desert needs to be recognized more frequently for all the good things that we do. We recently, and the Desert Sun is not always good at that, but I respect that they do try to tell the community what's happening within our own community. The most recent article that they ran on the college and the classes and how we were not letting students enter and we were obstructing student success, I think I had more feedback from that than any of those extremely negative articles that we've had in the past. So I was very, very appreciative of the email and the information that I've been given saying that we have indeed more students this year than before, that our percentage is up. Again, we know that that doesn't cure the problem. We know that there's this problem of bottlenecks. We have students, I mean, I really feel for those freshman students, the students that are just coming. I know that when we opened the classes that we were offering this year, by the time their priority came along, there was very little choice. And we worked at it. We gave them some opportunities. But we were not able to help some of the students that did want to come in the door. And even more, we have students that are kind of stopping up that flow, that natural flow, because we have areas that students don't seem to be able to get the classes to get into. I hear this over and over. I hear it from all levels of the community. I hear it from the grandparents, the parents, the students, the tias, the cousins, the primos. I mean, the whole thing. You hear it. So yes, I know it's true. So I think that as a college, we need to look, and I have to this isn't actually a job of the board. This is a job of the board, and I think I'm speaking for the other members of the board, but I am in this report speaking just for myself. Ask you to look to see what we can do to help get rid of that bottleneck. There seem to be just a handful of classes that students can't get into. They're just, Eleanor's an example. She said she needed a science class in order to graduate. I mean, our poster child sitting down there for this problem. There's a number of classes. I know I've heard speech, I've heard math. They're there. You know what they are. Annabelle can pull up those numbers. I think we need to do everything we can to help clear up that bottleneck so that those students get to move on their way to the next part of their life, and then it's kind of open and the new students can flow in. So I would ask if you would do what you can, and please come back to us and let us know, because we can't know, we can't give a good report to our community if we don't know what we're doing to help solve those problems. So, thank you. Dr. Kinman?
Thank you, Trustee Broughton. So I'm going to just stay on your theme.
Yes.
So that I'm responsive to the board and the...
Boy, that's fast.
It is fast. But it is timely. I know that there's been a lot of discussion, and there oftentimes... Am I on? Yeah. There oftentimes is miscommunication. I've heard some here today that I hope to clarify and really focus our conversation back on students, student success, student pathways, and those types of concerns. One of the things that I've asked is, as we're looking at next spring and next year and the future of College of the Desert, we're in this really unique time period where throughout the state enrollments are declining. So enrollment is declining throughout the state. And as you mentioned, the paper, newspaper wrote about our uniqueness in Coachella Valley. We have a lot of need and a lot of demand. So there's a lot of state resources at the Chancellor's office to fund growing colleges while other colleges decline. And I've seen this, and maybe this even may be a larger magnitude than the last time I've seen it, an opportunity for a college to really increase the number of students it serves and actually get funded for it. I mean, too often we find ourselves in a situation where we're putting more on the schedule, but we don't have the resources really, and we're getting money from the foundation or other sources to try to put those classes out there. But we can actually grow and get money from the state. That's kind of novel, isn't it?
It is novel, yes.
And address the needs of our students and the people in Coachella Valley. And what's great about that is here we are, we're looking at this year that we believe that we can probably increase our FTES base significantly, 6 to 7% maybe, and that that moving forward, what we would like to see, and if we do that, and if we do some transfers of FTES, we're looking at several $millions coming to the district to be able to pay for new faculty, new staff, ongoing needs, and serve more students. And we've had the fortune of having one-time monies that have helped us buy equipment and different types of things. But when you're really investing in something that's ongoing, like new faculty and new staff, et cetera, you really have to rely on an ongoing revenue stream. And so, as we're looking at our enrollment planning and really looking at it thoughtfully, we believe that we want to try to grow 1,000 FTES. We would like to see the Indio campus very quickly to be at a position to reach center status, which is $1 million of ongoing money for our college. We'd like to see ourselves approach that 10,000 mark so that we can get an additional, how much? 1.2 million of ongoing money. And through the adjustment of our summer FTES and the growth that we're projecting, we're looking at another 2.2 million. So we're talking about over $4 million in a time period when other colleges are decreasing. So now we have this money. So how are we going to, we've got to put classes on. We've got to hire more faculty. And so as we're looking at this and understanding these challenges that we have in these pathways, I've sat down and with staff and I've asked that we look at a few things. And I want to touch on those briefly. We know that our first-time freshmen here, they couldn't enroll in some classes. I mean, the classes were already full. Mm-hmm. So, how do we identify what those classes are? It's important for us to know. Or how do we identify classes for students that maybe they've been here for 2 semesters, but they haven't been able to get into chemistry, and it's not going to be offered for another 2 semesters or something. These types of questions. So as we're looking at this, we've received some input from our counselors. They really deal with students on day in and day out that are struggling to get into their classes. We've got information, and we're going to continue to get more information from our Department of Institutional Research. We're asking for feedback from ASCOD. The students certainly know. And then, of course, input from our Academic Senate. And when we've looked at this, some of the current stuff we've identified is, if you look at the number of students who have taken 30 units or more and have not completed a college level course and transfer requirement prior to fall 2014, there were 888 students that needed speech. Okay, this is students that have 30 units or more, and that's not even talking about the students that are going to be coming to us from our feeder institutions. Math, 1,940. English, 378. So we've got a bottleneck that's significant, and we know in these areas, and there's some additional areas I want to touch on. So as the budget is presented today, we are proposing that we look at up to 12 temporary full-time faculty to help us deal with the bottleneck. Because if we can deal with these high numbers that are already here and get ourselves in a place that when our incoming freshman class from our feeder institutions aren't behind this bottleneck, then they're going to be able to get their classes. And so we're going to be very aggressive with identifying what those areas are. I'd like to get all my feedback by September 26th so that we can start advertising for the spring and have some people join us for spring and fall so that we really can have an impact on these students that really deserve to be able to get into these classes. The other thing I'd like to mention is some of the feedback that has come from our counselors. They focused first on classes that kept students from enrolling at COD, and this was classes that were not available on the first day of priority for new students. So with basic skills, there was no math and no English, and they had challenges with general ed courses, so the GETC courses. The other thing that was interesting is in regard to specific classes that new students wanted to take but were not available included Math 70, Math 60, 54, and 40, Speech 4 and 1, English 1A, Psychology 3, Psychology 1, History, 2 histories, Political Science, Biology, Chemistry, Philosophy. So, clearly when you're a first-time student coming here and those doors are not open to you, it starts limiting your choices. And if you do have a student educational plan, you're really being much more thoughtful about the courses you take, and you don't want to take things that fall outside those plans. So the more we can be thoughtful about what those students are needing when they come to us, the better. So yes, we're looking at temporary full-time faculty, again, with a lot of input. Also, the Academic Senate, in their purview, is the identification of full-time tenured track faculty positions. And through our program review updates and the stuff that the Senate is working on and feedback that they're getting from all the faculty, they'll be prioritizing full-time tenure track positions as well. And so we'll be also recruiting for them. you know, I'm not sure when those will come. It may be that those are spring advertisements for the subsequent fall. But again, you know, we are taking this very, very seriously. We are serving more students, but we know that we can serve a lot more, and we want to do that. So,
at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I'm hoping that as we decide what we can offer, we also consider where we offer it, because it's equally important that it be offered throughout the valley.
yes, and I think that's a great point, because as we opened up the Indio campus, there was some concern that that campus might take students away from this campus and rob Peter to pay Paul type thing, and that's not what we saw. We saw the increasing enrollments to the magnitude we hadn't anticipated, and that's right now why we see easily getting to center status level there. And then as we look at Mecca and as we look at the West Valley, we need to...
But see, that surprises me, because the Indio campus did not just spring full grown up there in that building. The Indio campus has been there for years, and the Mecca campus has been there for a while now, and we've offered classes in Palm Springs and in Desert Hot Springs for quite a while, and I don't believe they ever took students, but they did give students that couldn't get to this campus an opportunity to go to school.
Well, and I would have to say kudos to some scheduling at Indio that contributed to that successful kickoff, because the scheduling was done much differently than it had been in the past.
It offers opportunities to a wider selection of students, so it was really good.
Chairman Broughton, I think it would be great, the urgency of this, to establish maybe a board task force looking at, how could I put this? Maybe you, my fellow board members can help me. Class availability, I don't know how we would name it, but kind of a task force that we are aware of what's going on here at the College of the Desert, class availability.
Right.
You know,
I think all we can actually do is ask for reports, right?
How about a study session?
A study session.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Study session,
right.
maybe
that's a good
2 hours,
cure.
have different people.
You know,
when we collect the data.
As we're going through this process of collecting data, what we could do is provide an update of that. And then I think as we go through our student success planning, and this is, again, I want to emphasize, because this is a miscommunication, this is a long-term process, not a short-term process. And as we go through that process, we're going to understand some of the strengths that we have and where we need to continue to put resources, and then we're going to understand some of the challenges and obstacles that we're putting in front of our students and how to address those. And I think we'll continue to learn that over time, but so we may be wanting to do something on a more regular basis as we're going through this process ourselves.
Just like we establish a transportation task force, this is a community, the college, this is affecting all our students in our whole Coachella Valley. That's why I was proposing having a task force coming from the board, because this is an urgent need in our community, and this is what our communities and our constituents are telling us, so that's why I proposed that.
The amount of work that has been taking place, you know, on this and other matters, you know, it's been significant. You just have to walk around campus and you see some droopy eyes sometimes, the amount of effort that everybody's putting in place. So I recognize when there's concerns expressed about or faculty maybe being in orientation for one semester, so there may not be in the classroom as much as they would have, you know, and I acknowledge that, but I also acknowledge that that time for one semester for investing in a person's lifetime career at College of the Desert is should yield many, many dividends and help our students as they come to the college. In addition, we are providing more resources to our to have part-time faculty. And as I've just indicated, we're committing to temporary full-time and permanent full-time faculty. So we are going to be hiring additional faculty. And when we're talking about faculty leaders and asking the Senate to work with us and identify faculty leaders that can help us with some of the efforts that are before us that may take them out of the classroom 40% of the time. You know, there's 4 key areas that were shared with the Senate that are within the purview of the Senate that we were saying, you know, we will provide release time for certain types of functions so that that will enable a faculty leader working with the Senate, working with the faculty to move forward on some initiatives. And again, we're committed to making sure any time that's taken away by those individuals is also that we provide additional faculty time and positions. And I just wanted to go over the 4 that
Trustee O'Neill,
that are, yes, yes.
I know what you just articulated or outlined a plan, and I know you have had prior to the Desert Sun article, we were looking at this issue. But how much this has been communicated to the general staff of the college? I mean, I know we have our usual means through the faculty senate and stuff, but has the general population heard this in anything from your office or
the areas where it's been communicated is the first place we communicated was August 15th with the Academic Senate Executive Committee, and so some of the college administration with the Senate Executive Committee, we had an extensive dialogue about the growth and about how to capture that, and about that we needed to put more money into for faculty in order for us to do that. So again, and it was really focused on student pathways and access. Then at our board meeting, I guess the last board meeting, you know, we touched on the enrollment growth piece. And then this week at my full cabinet, which has all the constituency leaders, we also discussed these items as well. And what you hope is that this gets carried out, and yes, I know, out throughout the college community. And then, and of course, in my remarks on the first part of the beginning of the new year, some of this information was in there. We also have the district budget study group that part of this will be in the presentation today if I ever quit giving my report. But the district budget study group also have been informed of this as well, which has representation. We will do it again with College Planning Council because it's a larger audience. So we're trying to say it over and over and over again, because I think they say it takes 3 times before, and if you just get a piece of it from somebody that may not have really got all the information, then it's out of context. And so I want to try to keep it in context as best as we can. And as the priorities are identified, we'll want to put something out that really speaks to this in a more official type of capacity.
That's where I was heading.
Yeah, I think you're right. And the board's been very clear to me based on your goals and your expectations, and so we'll work with staff to make sure that we provide for the students in Coachella Valley. I was going to mention 4 of these coordinators that were floated out there. And again, these were not saying that we were going to have them. These were things that we have identified that are important, and we were wanting feedback on, but we may have them. And as far as how they reported, where they reported, and those types of things, those discussions are still taking place. But an example is faculty accreditation coordinator, an honors program viability study coordinator. We focus a lot on our students needing remediation and the access pieces, etc. Again, we are moving forward on our student ambassador program, right, Carlos? And to get together together with that, we also want to look at what type of honors program could we? Is it something that's viable? And let's highlight, showcase our students that are really doing wonderful things in the classroom. Student equity planning coordinator, again, part of the requirement from State Chancellor's office, and then educational master plan co-chair. So, let's update the educational master plan. I think the last one was 2012. 2012, okay. So, those are 4, and there's a few other that we are also looking at, one related to enrollment management, and I don't have the full list in front of me. But again, I just wanted you to be aware that, those are the types of faculty leadership roles that we were looking for, but we have my full commitment, and I know the executive team's full commitment of making sure that we also provide either full-time, temporary, or adjunct personnel to offset any time that our full-timers might be doing in some of this important work. Okay, I almost have exhausted my 5 minutes.
No, you still got some time left, see?
And I've got to find my notes.
4 minutes and 47 seconds. Time seems to stand still sometimes, doesn't it?
All right. I did want to express that our executive director of HR, Stan Dupre, that he has indicated that, as he's been gone, he just has kept saying, I'm sorry, and what's going on with this or what's going on with that, and, really inquiring about, how he wishes he was here to help us and understands that there's been a lot going on, and that, Sam Sturman had left before Stan was out, and so our HR staff, they've really been hanging in there with just not a lot of people. But then Stan recognizes also that he needs to work on his recovery, and he needs to spend time with his family. And so, on your agenda today is it's under resignations. That's how we code them. But really, Stan is retiring, and he's going to focus his efforts, like I said, on his family and on his health. And he wanted me just to tell everybody how much he loves everyone, and that he wants to allow the college to move forward, and that he needs to also allow his family to move forward as well. And he's said so many wonderful things about each and every one of you, and about people throughout this college. Some I wouldn't have thought he would have said such wonderful things about, but he has no axe to grind with anybody, even if he butted heads with you. It's like he thinks that this place is a wonderful place, and that this has definitely been part of his family. And I can't even begin to, because I'm kind of one that doesn't express myself a lot, I can't even begin to tell you how much he expresses that. And the stories about many of you that he's talked about. When I would see him at the hospital, he knew every nurse and everyone that had come from graduated from College of the Desert. In fact, he had Rhonda call one of the nurses that was on another floor that had been in his class, and and he remembered their names and everything, And so I think that just that in itself demonstrates how plugged in he was to us. And so I know that, I expressed the same back to him from all of us. And so, again, I just wanted to share that with you on behalf of Stan and his family. That concludes my report.
Stan will certainly be missed.
Yes.
He has stood by this school through the thick and thin, and sometimes was the one that took down the flag. So we'll certainly miss him. He is family. So he may not be here working, but he's here in our heart.
Chairman Broughton, also the students would dearly miss him. He has mentored tremendously a lot of our students, so I feel like also the students would dearly miss him.
Yes.
He mentored many of our students.
Yes. So I move on to the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be considered for approval by a single vote without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be pulled from the consent agenda to be discussed and considered separately in the action agenda. I need to remind you that this resignation, that Stan's resignation, was left off of the original as it was typed up. It has been added. I'm bringing that to your attention so that you're clear as to what we're voting on. Is there any item that a member wishes to pull from the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'd like to pull Administrative Services item number 9, the CCSF 311 quarterly report.
Admin number 9, okay. Yes, you're going to hate me when you listen to this tape and hear me hit that microphone with my paper. Is there anything else that anyone else wishes to pull? Okay, so we are voting on the consent agenda with the admin number 9 removed. Do I have a motion? We do not. Have we had a motion? I don't think so. I think I did this in reverse like I always do. Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Again, we're voting on it with that item removed. Is there any discussion other than that removal? And reminder that we added that item was left off of the list. All in favor? Student trustee?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that was unanimous aye vote. Okay, so thank you. Oh, you're such a good co-chair. Thank you. Okay, so yes, I'm looking to see if my public comment kind of give me a note where it is exactly that you wish to speak. Okay, the public hearing. Okay. Okay, so the item that we've pulled was the area's administrative services. It's item number 9, 2013 CCF third quarter. Is that what it is? 311 quarterly financial status report. Yes, I finally got through that. Michael.
You have a motion. You need a motion.
Oh, I do need a motion.
I move.
Okay, yes,
Second.
it's your privilege to move and to speak first. Oh, all in favor? No, we need a discussion, right? Okay, discussion. It's your discussion.
My concern or issue or comment or all of the above is regard to the last page, page 2 of 2. Question number 7, does the district have significant fiscal problems that must be addressed? The last quarterly report that we had an answer of yes, because we have that MIS situation hanging over our heads. Based on the no answer, and so that we're all understanding what we're saying here, I'm assuming that we are saying that we are, based on our information, we believe that we no longer have that clod hanging over us, that our evidence indicates that we can substantiate our not being overfunded during that period of time, and that we could possibly not owe, in the worst case scenario, probably not owe the Chancellor's Office anything. Best case scenario, we may have been underfunded for some of those years. That's what that no says to me. If that no doesn't say that, and so that we know that the staff and the faculty and the community and the Accreditation Commission, we are not misleading anybody. Because if that no doesn't mean that, and if that should be a yes, because we have that preposterous 6-point-some million hanging over our head, then we should say that. But I'm comfortable in saying we know to this question, but I just want to make sure that we all understand what we are saying, that we have evidence that proves that we do not have a financial crisis pending with that MIS situation. Mr. President?
Yes, sir. That's a big one.
Thank you.
Based on our analysis, Dr. Bice's analysis, and based on recent analysis that we have had conducted by our external auditor, that also it's an auditor that was used that both the Chancellor's Office and we have previously relied on. Based on both of those, we believe if anything is owed, it's, I'm going to use the word marginal. One of the things that was with we just got numbers back from our external auditor yesterday to validate, and so we're determining now if there is anything owed, what that is, but clearly it is marginal based on their analysis as well. So the answer is we are taking that position that it's no, and that we believe in our analysis. And in the meantime, the Chancellor's Office will probably continue to analyze the numbers, and hopefully will come to the same conclusion. If they stick to the position that they've had, it is the $6.8 million that you alluded to. But our position that we put to the Chancellor has been very clear that we do not agree with their analysis.
So that will allow us then to move forward with our plans to increase faculty, full-time, tenure, part-time, contract, and move forward to address the needs of the community and the students.
That's right.
Thank you, sir. It makes me feel better.
Thank you, Trustee O'Neill.
Are we going to get an update from that at a future date?
Yes.
When?
You'll have one at every meeting.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on that item? Hearing none. Student Trustee Campbell?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I hear that is unanimous vote. Thank you. You're such a good vice chair. She feeds me the documents that I need. That's right. Okay, I'm being sure. The other action agenda item was item 4. Okay, see, this is the bad part about working off of two things here. Yeah, okay. I still think I think the other item we have to add in is further ahead. Board of Trustees, a change in board meetings that in November. As you read, there has been there'll be a conflict with the state meeting, so we are suggesting that we change this date. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I think it's just like to say, I think it's important that we all are available. We are one of the host districts, and I think making this minor adjustment will benefit everyone and allow us to participate fully. And since it's in our own backyard for a change, we save thousands of dollars in traveling.
Yes.
And for those that don't know, in the public, what we're talking about is the California Community College League Trustee Annual Conference, and the College of the Desert is the host this year. So we're going to be showcasing the beauties and just everything that we do at the College of the Desert. So that's why we're changing it. So just to clarify for the public.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second, a very lively discussion there. All in favor, Trustee Campbell?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I hear that as unanimous vote. Okay, the next item is admin services. We have a public hearing. The public hearing is now open. Do I have to read something to open this hearing? Every other board I ever sit on, I do.
Just wait.
Just that sentence.
Okay. I have a person that wishes to address the board. Laura?
I just wanted to take a few moments to commend Lisa Howell and her staff, because at our budget committee we were very adamant about getting some details together and about getting them ready in time for the board meeting, so that the budget would be more reflective of the ups and downs, and that's related to what we typically saw as footnotes of where items increased and decreased. So I wanted to thank you again. And John Ramon, this happened where the request was made by the budget committee, including Denise Diamond and myself, and within less than a week's time it's ready for us to view and for you to view. So I wanted to say thank you for that, because it does indeed continue to show the desire of Dr. Kinnaman and staff to have a transparent budget. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. There being no one else that's asked to speak, the public hearing is closed. So now we have the fiscal year 2014-2015 final budget. Do I have a motion to approve the final budget as presented?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and we have a presentation. And I'm sure we'll have discussion.
No discussion. Well, here we are again, looking at our budget. If you remember the last time in June, we adopted our tentative. We have since refined the information. We've done a lot of work, and again, I know during the end of the day, many of the members of the budget subcommittee are no longer here, but they really added some great discussion. John and I are both relatively new to the college, and so our style of presentation may be a little bit different, but I think we complemented one another in providing information maybe in a different way. They brought wonderful questions to the table. They had a format that they were comfortable with, and as we said from day one, our mission is to be transparent. We'll answer any question. We'll look at it together, and so it's been a very good process, I think. So I'd like to also thank John. He is really the one, and his staff, that are the details of this monstrous budget, and it is quite a composite of information that is compiled to what you have before you today. So with that, this first page is really just, you should have two documents in front of you, by the way. One PowerPoint and one spreadsheet, yes? Does everyone have that? Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. This is just a calendar of where we've been, and today saying that we are done with this process, only to start the next one tomorrow, I'm sure. But our it's been a very good process, I think a very positive process. So with the board's consideration this afternoon, we'll be adopting our budget and submitting it to the Chancellor's office. So quickly, brief update about the state budget. So this first slide is really just about the state, not about the college, because although it says all these percentages and increases here, this is a statewide. It might not funnel down to us in exactly the same way, but it does show that there is more money coming to community colleges and to COD. which we're happy about. As you know, we've been in a seven-year slump with no growth and very little funding coming our way. So not too many differences from May Revise, so really not a lot to talk about. So the assumptions that the state used in their budget for 13-14 and 14-15, you can see that there's a slight decline in COLA. That was offset by other revenues that were targeted revenues towards program. So not a lot there. The two items I think that we are concerned with on an ongoing basis are the last two, and those are the STRS and the PERS employer rates. Those will impact us, and they will continue to cost us additional monies which we have not had to pay in the past. So that every increase is an increase to our costs, which were not there yesterday. So it's a cost of payroll, employee cost. And that's just due to the pension plans. There have been great increases in the market, so we hope that this escalation may slow. I think the projections are pretty scary at this point, but we've had some really good returns in our market, so that's yet to be seen. So what do we look at from our assumptions, expenditure assumptions? And this is just a large list of the big ones, what's included in this budget. So before we start to talk about anything, we have to service our salary schedule. So that means our step and column. Every employee that is eligible to receive a step and column does so on an automatic annual basis, and that costs us $378,000 this year for 14-15. We had our big retiree early retirement program, so we saved money there. So we're indicating that the savings, the total savings was about $1 million. We hired 7 new faculty positions that came on board and are here. We have our increased adjunct faculty. That $651,000 is there this year. It will change next year because of the early retirement program. We did not have to fill those positions for the full-time faculty obligation, so that's going to change over time. But this year we get the reaction time to fill those classes with adjuncts. We also had our bargaining agreement for the 14-15 year, which was a tentative agreement with and I guess approved today. So that cost us, it's a 3-year agreement, as we know, and the current cost is $215,000 estimated for this year. We have a faculty leadership program money that we've set aside for $143,000. We have 12 temporary full-time faculty positions that Dr. Kenneman was speaking of earlier, and that is for increased access for our students, for that bottleneck issue that we've heard about. Our STRS rate, we anticipate the estimated cost about $250,000 related to that rate increase. And we have other positions, reclassifications, budget adjustments, and everything else that we couldn't fit on the page, $521,000. So those are the large items. So when we look at the budget, look at past and present, always nice to see the trend, what really happened versus what we're doing. Combined Fund 10 includes both our restricted and unrestricted funds. If I were looking at this and looking at this solely, and I saw a $1.7 million decrease to fund balance, which is that number mid-page all the way to the right-hand side, I would have a concern. I would say, gosh, deficit spending, we need to figure out what's going on here, because if it is ongoing, we're going to have some challenges in the future. But we're going to look a little bit into our restricted and unrestricted about why that's happening. So if we look at our unrestricted fund, and this is the one that I will always comment on, this is our fund that we have decision-making ability. This is the one we concentrate on. This is the one where there are less restrictive issues than we have in our restricted funds. We can look here to see in operations, looking at this revenue trend, I'd also question from 12-13 to 13-14, we went from 37 million to 42 million, and that's a huge increase. So I'd ask why. Why did we? And there were 2 unusual occurrences last year. One of them, if you remember, we included in the tentative budget was the 1.8 release of the FTES, which caused our revenues to go up. The other one was our wonderful new market tax credit that occurred of 1.7 million. So 3.6 million overall. That is one-time revenue that is really unusual, that we won't see on a year-to-year basis. So that number is a bit skewed. So when you look at 42 to 43 million in the 14-15 year, it does not seem like that's such a jump, but we are, as you'll see in our assumptions, we really are banking on some growth and significant dollars for growth that I'll caution us about in a little bit too. So if we look at our expenditures, we go from 36 to 39 million to 43 million. Again, we have increases, as we talked about on those earlier slides, about what goes from 39 million to 43, why that increase. But overall, when we look at the surplus deficit and also the increase and decrease into fund balance, we're pretty healthy, and this is exactly where you want to be. If I were teaching governmental accounting, I would say you want to spend what you receive, no more, no less. That's a perfect situation. So to be about 650,000 to the good, or to the deficit spending, is a good position to be in. We know that we typically do not spend everything we appropriate to spend. It just doesn't happen. So at the end of the year, if our revenue projections hold and expenditures, I expect our revenues to be pretty close. I expect our expenditures to be slightly less. And I think that 650,000 will be close to zero or on the positive side. One of the ways I think that we should judge ourselves from a fiscal standpoint is how close were we to our projections? How close were we when we talked about on our tentative budget where we would come in on our unaudited actuals? And I can tell you our staff did an excellent job. Taking out the 1.7 million, because that occurred, we weren't sure that was going to occur, and I don't think anybody will tell me that I'm not conservative. I'm always going to be on the conservative side, so they can't accuse me of being non-conservative. So I chose not to include that in the balance because we weren't sure if it was going to occur, and we weren't sure the timing of when it was going to occur. So that came into that fund balance. If you adjusted our tentative budget estimated actual balance for that amount of money, the projections staff made were less than 1% off. So did that big $4 million or $2 million or $3 million fall out at year end? It did not. And that's what we said we'd do. We told the Board of Trustees, and we told the Budget Subcommittee, let us have a year, watch what we do, ask questions, and we will give you numbers that we think are believable. And I think we did just that. So as we move into, you notice that we have, we started with 10.2 million for 14-15, and we're estimating ending with 9.5. So then my next question would be, that's a lot of money. What are we going to do with that money? And is it ongoing? Is it one time? And why do we have so much? So we'll talk about that. So as I alluded to earlier, 3.6 million of the one-time revenues included in 14-15. These are the things that we have to always go back to remember, those unusual circumstances when we're talking about why are we here. 3.6 million in one-time revenues. This is this big number for 14-15, 6% FTES growth, $2 million in additional revenues. Now, Dr. Kenneman alluded to center status and middle college status. Those two things are not included in our budget. So when we talk about is it possible, it is possible. But again, don't accuse me of being aggressive. I'm going to be conservative always, because until we get there, they won't be included in our revenue projections. So, but we are projecting 6% growth. And is that a risk? And I will tell you, yes, it is, because the revenue comes to us. We're going to ramp up for it. We'll claim it on our FTES because we know that we will achieve it. We're already at a 3% growth this year. We have summer school to deal with, or from last year. So the FTES picture is very, very positive. The question is, can we maintain it? So we're going to talk a little bit about how we protect ourselves in the event that we can't sustain or maintain or continue to grow. Also, we have to remember that should the governor's budget, should the other districts grow and we miss that mark, we're going to need someplace to, we won't receive all those revenues. So although we're projecting for them and we're going to go for it, we have to be cautious in that way. So there we go, moving forward. So we look at our restricted funds. Many of the times I'll tell you, I don't spend a lot of time here. These revenues and expenditures are restrictive in nature, so they come in and there are very specific targets, and unless we have encroachment or programs that are underfunded, I think that we're going to do what the law requires us to do with these programs. Now, we do have some transfers and some deficits if we look at this line here. So those would be transfers or things that either are being funded by a balance, a prior balance, an ending fund balance, or we have to make a transfer in. So those transfers are relatively low, which means we're doing a relatively good job of funding and staying within the bounds of those programs. So then why would we be overspending? I'm not going to call it overspending, but we're spending down some revenues that we really should be using in the years we receive them. So we're going to help our staff do that this year. And we're going to help them do that by educating them and giving them programs and reasons to spend. So more information, we think, how much money you have, when you should spend it, will help them work with student success in getting those monies spent on the students of today. So, next question is, let's look at our ending fund balance. Where is it? Where has it been? It's been kind of all over the place. So we started in 06-07, and 06-07 was the stellar year, the mother lode year of more money coming to K-14 education than ever before. And then we had a few years where the state would panic us and say, you need to save, 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 because there's going to be a cut, and you're not going to grow, of which that did occur over time. So you'll see those balances. The blue bars are the unrestricted Fund 11. And so when I alluded to earlier, we have some significant one-time ending fund balance monies we do. And so we need to spend that down wisely. We don't want to keep it, so we want to spend it wisely for good work. And again, on one time, because this is not ongoing money. Ending fund balance would be like your savings account balance that you don't have money coming into. So once you spend it, it's gone. Our adopted budget, again, is just a picture in time. It does not include any one-time spending. So that's important. That's why it's really important to look at the budget deficit spending picture at this point in time, because none of those ending fund balances have been appropriated to be respent, because once that happens, you're going to look as if you're spending more expenditures. So it'll look, your deficit spending picture will get larger, which will happen in our first interim report. You'll see that number go up a little bit. Oops, went one too fast. So this is a very important slide, and I think if this were the slide I would want to spend the majority of time on. Why do we have ending fund balance, and what is it restricted to? So if we look, we came 12-13, we had 8.8, then we went 13-14, 10.6, and now we're dropping to 9.5 estimated for 14-15. We committed a lot of dollars in 14-15, as we indicated, things that we haven't done before. We've settled a bargaining agreement. We have full-time faculty. We have student enhanced access. So the balance is going to go down a little bit. We have a 7.5% reserve, and one of the questions that was asked at Budget Subcommittee, why is that amount bigger when the ending fund balance is? And I'm struggling, and John came to the rescue. He said, because it is figured off of total expenditures and outgoes. It's not a percent of ending fund balance, but it's really a percent of operating expense. So that requirement, as we spend more, will go up. We have now reserved for growth and other. This is the area that when I talk about being conservative, these are the areas that we budgeted for revenue that I'm not 100% comfortable that we'll receive. So I don't want them in my operating and budget till I receive them, and once I do, then we'll release them and they can be part of our base and move forward. But right now, those are balances that this has to do with prior year, and this one has to do with that growth that we just aren't sure is going to be ours. We hope it is, because we You know, not that we don't want other colleges to grow, but if they can't grow and we can, then good for us. So that money is to be determined. We will know the answer to that question in February. So then.
We don't get the money until June anyway.
Correct.
So it's not
Correct.
like we're spending ahead.
That's correct. That's absolutely right. Trustee O'Neill, thank you. So then we talk about our FTES dispute. Now again, knowing that I'm very conservative, I'm still reserving $1 million here. I want a letter, I want it recognized, I want it to go away, but until it does, we have to at least acknowledge that we still have an issue. So we're reserving, again, one-time money. New market tax credit?
We're
Pardon?
not setting it aside as a liability.
No, it is not in our current operating expenses. It was released. So 1.8 was released, came to fund balance, and now we're just saying we're recognizing that we don't have a sign-off. Really in good faith, is what it is at this point.
Why are we putting 1 million? What happens if it's more? I'm just curious.
That's a good question.
I'm being very conservative on that answer, so I want to know, are we going to have that available?
As you can see with our fund balances, we do. However, I think that if we reserve more, that sends a message to the Chancellor's office that we plan to pay more. And frankly, the numbers indicate that we really shouldn't pay anything. But that's yet to be, differences of opinion. Exactly. So then we have our new market tax credit, this 1.7 million. Why is it there in 2 years? We haven't appropriated it because we haven't dedicated the money to the special projects that we need to do. So we're not letting it get absorbed. We're indicating that it's there and we're going to thoughtfully spend it. Again, one-time money.
But those came because we have the Indio campus.
That's correct.
So they need to be spent at the Indio campus because that's why we receive the tax credit.
Correct. The actual language indicates that we will spend some of the money. Some of it is unrestricted, but again, we will bring forward a plan on how to spend that money, and obviously trustees will have the final word.
Lisa, I would like to get, or maybe I should address this to President Kinnaman. There is a committee that is in Indio that is formed on that. When are their meetings? I'd like to know.
I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know. Can tell you that I did meet with the City of Indio yesterday,
yes.
And we are convening a committee to discuss this, or not a committee, but a meeting of the board. Dr. Kinnaman's on the board, and Chair Broughton's on the board of that financing corporation, financing
right.
committee.
I represent also Indio, so I would like to be part of that board. I spoke to the people of Indio, so since I represent that district, I think it would be very critical that let me know when the next meeting is, and I would be more than happy to be there. Thank you.
The board is formed, and it was just formed with two members of this board, 2 members of the, I think Mr. Wilson and Dan Martinez are on the board, and then there was a community member, Larry Salas, I believe that was appointed.
When did this happen? It was
That was
available
last year. Last year during during the new market tax credit.
Yeah, I know. So 2 board members of our district. So which is the other? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this board is in charge. We are in charge of this one. Oops, sorry, going too fast again.
I met
The
with the mayor
1.7
and they
million. So
mentioned it
that
to
money
me.
will come back here for consideration. That board really was more for the tax credit, getting the agency so that the loan could be done, so that the credits could be claimed. So I think this money will be in control of Desert Community College District, not that board.
So Bonnie, since you're on that committee, can you give us an Oh, you're not.
No,
Okay.
We have 2 people. We have the chair of the board, and we have the president.
Okay. I would love to get an update, maybe next time on that, just to know what's going on, since it's a new tax credit. Okay, maybe when available. Okay, nothing. Oh, I didn't know. I'm asking you.
The organization so that we could legally receive the money. When we legally receive the money, we formed the corporation so that we could, or the corporation may not even be the right word. We formed it so we could legally receive the money. By law, we must legally receive the money and legally give it to the college to spend. We cannot, that organization can't spend it. They don't have the authority to spend it. They are the LAIF of that kind of thing. They're the safe place.
Okay.
That's correct, and they're the body that has to file the tax forms
But
and the
what
legal.
we had to swear is that, yes, when we got the money, we would file, we'd do the proper paperwork, and there sits the proper paperwork filler outers right there.
Correct. So that oops, again, I'm pushing wrong buttons. So the 1.7 will come back for consideration to this board. Then we talk about this $2.1 million of enhanced student access, and that is, this money actually was set aside before the article came out in the paper. So it is a problem here that we are dealing with. Student access is important, and in order to expand those classes, it takes money. So, and then we have other one-time designations, $1 million, just again placeholder of things that we may want to do. The board may advise us to do sometime during the year.
I like this because it shows what our real ending balance is. But yet, if you look at the books, we have much more in that account. But that has sort of a designation to it. So if anybody's looking for what we really have, we really only have the 9.5.
Correct.
Everything else is somewhat more accounted for.
Correct. Well, really, I mean, when you talk about reserves, and you'll hear, you have a 25% reserve. We do not have a 25% reserve. We have a $4.3 million reserve, and then we have designations. So the designations, and again, the question I would ask is, how realistic are those designations? So we know our growth designation, we're telling you we'll be able to spend it when we get it, but we just want to make sure we're going to get it. The FTS dispute, that money also will be available as soon as we have signed on the dotted line a release saying it's...
This will change. Everything from the top line down will change over time. Might be a year, might be 2 years, but this will all change. So we're only ever dealing with that first line.
That's correct. And that really is, that also will change because it's a budget. The only thing that won't change that I can tell you is that ending fund balance for 12-13 and 13-14, because those are real. Those are actual.
That happen.
Okay. So, all right. So here are our graphs. We had some fun with our budget subcommittee. We were talking about what really reflects. So I believe these were presented at our tentative budget, and we showed the entire total, both funds, 11 and 12, restricted, unrestricted. So we felt, the budget subcommittee consensus felt that it was better to show the unrestricted side because that's our decision-making ability. So we look at, our commitments to staff, and these total 82%. And what you'll find as we go through, this is 12-13 unrestricted, and with 13-14 unrestricted. Very little change, 82%, and even in 14-15, 82%. So what does that say? I mean, to me, it says that we continue to make a very concerted effort to support our staff. Even when we're growing, even when we received those 3.6 million of one-time monies, we still are supporting our staff at a consistent level. Now we could argue, is the 82% the right number? I mean, we can talk about that, but really we're keeping this a consistent portion of our budget, which means we have 18% left to pay for everything else, which is challenging.
And that's been historical.
So one of the things too that the budget committee wanted to make sure is that we include, not to leave out their colleagues that are funded by the restricted fund, but their salaries and benefits are not included in these graphs, but they are funded and in Fund 12, which is the restricted fund. So along with our budget, you have a packet with all of our other funds, and the thing that I can tell you about all of our other funds is they're reported to our best of our ability, to the best of John's ability, and staff at the current revenues and current expenditures for the year. And these are a list of those funds. So final thoughts and considerations. I thought you'd never get here. So for 14-15, the one thing to remember is we are in a very good position because we reflect a relatively balanced budget. We're not spending more than we're receiving. And that's very important to have at this point in time in the year. We are projecting 6% growth, and it is aggressive. I'm not comfortable with it 100%, but that's why we're reserving some money in the reserve. So I always believe when you talk about improving your status for the future, improving the base, we need to go for it, no doubt. But we need to be smart when we do that. So our restricted funds are expected to spend down, so that's why you see that if you look at the combined fund, that's why you'd see that slight increase in deficit spending. But those are, again, appropriations of those fund balances or beginning fund balances. And all of our other funds have been reviewed and reflect accurate projections. So that's what we can confirm for you today through this report. So then if there are any questions, we also provided this sheet, which I understand the college is familiar with. And it actually is a very good recap of things. And John worked very diligently yesterday and today to try and get it done for the presentation today. But it really goes through and shows each faculty group, staffing group, where the increases and decreases were in that area. And obviously that is a concern to them and a concern to us. There's no doubt that we'll have questions about it from our budget subcommittee because we'll continue to meet. And there will be changes here as staff is hired and alignments are done. So with that, if you have any detailed questions, I have John here. Any broad questions, I'm happy to answer.
Lisa, I'm very happy with this report, but maybe in the future we can have this ahead of time. I think it's wonderful that we do such a thorough job putting this together, but giving it to the board and just saying, let's just give some ample time for us to, if we have any questions, it would be great if you can give us more time to look at this.
And if we would have had it earlier on, I would have provided it to you. But it was just a request made on Monday afternoon by the budget subcommittee.
On the other hand, it is a budget, it is ongoing, and I'm thinking that you'll be open to our questions afterwards, because what we're approving is the concept of the budget.
The concept.
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, we're approving this budget, don't get me wrong, but the budget is a work in progress. Every day the budget changes some. So where there are questions, I think that all we have to do is direct them to, that's Lucky.
You can go ask him.
We get to just email in, and then we will appreciate that you ask the questions because Angela will send us all back the answers. Are there any questions that
Yeah, on the other funds, the second to the last slide, is there any way to get what those numbers are?
The other funds should be in your packet, in the board packet. Yeah, they're detailed, and actually there's a multi-year projection in there. I neglected to, it's item, action item number 2.
You have backup there.
So that is actually the numbers and the projections for all the funds, other funds, and in there we also have the multi-year projections, which are always important to see trending wise. Again, I don't put a lot of weight on them, but it certainly shows you with the projections that the state budget is with the COLA, what we're looking at for increases and how that impacts us moving forward. So important to see.
I know you're concerned about the 6% growth. Are you concerned that our cap will not be raised enough, or that we're still dealing with that same pie, and every community college, even if they are losing enrollment, they do have some funding guarantees that protect them? So is that what your concern is, that money may not materialize out of this?
All of the above. But when you choices are not to go for it or to go for it, we want to go for it, because the sooner that you increase your base, and especially taking advantage of a time when others are not growing, because we have pretty definite information that the Northern California districts are declining.
Right.
It's really strategy. And Anna and Joel had to convince me of this, truly. And Dr. Bice, I spent a lot of time with Dr. Bice saying, okay, and so as long as we have the ability to retract, I'm comfortable. So.
And just to comment on that, Trustee O'Neill, the funding guarantees in place are for base FTES. There are no funding guarantees for growth. So although districts in decline will have that protection at their base level, the Chancellor's Office has a strong motivation to make sure that all growth dollars are distributed in the year that they're available, because the alternative is to turn those dollars back, which really undermines our overall advocacy efforts that say we need more dollars. So although the base funding is protected for districts for a few years, the growth dollars, they will want to distribute every one of those dollars in this academic year. And that's what we're banking on, is the growth being available. And I think we'll just keep patting Lisa on the back and encouraging her, and we'll get there.
And we have some competition from other Southern California's colleges also, I'm sure.
We do, but interestingly enough, at the Governor's Budget Workshop, which was held at Riverside Community College District about 7 or 8 weeks ago, the Chancellor's Office asked for people to raise their hands if they felt like they were going to achieve growth, and less than half of the room raised their hands.
Really?
So even in Southern California, there are districts that are having a difficult time growing. And it is true that it's a lot easier to cut than it is to grow. And in urban areas where there's lots of competition and lots of proprietary institutions, students have made choices. We are unique in that way, and that's why I think we feel confident that based on what you've heard today alone about not enough classes, not enough access, bottlenecked areas, built up demand, that we really are in a good position to strategically grow our schedule and intentionally address some issues for students and be successful in growing our base.
Thank you. Thank you.
I believe that, as you say, other institutions may have, other areas may have more choices in institutions, but I believe that many of our students, it wouldn't matter how many of the said institutions were in this area, they couldn't afford them. And so maybe for once those dollars are going to go to serve the people that really, really, really need it. One of these people that came to me that said, College of the Desert's just not offering these classes, and people I know are just going somewhere else, right? They're going, to a private school. They're going to, and I always say, I'm sorry we can't do it, and God bless them. God bless them for going, if they can afford to take a class somewhere else, taking it, and leaving that space open for a student that can't afford to go somewhere else. So maybe there are other choices, but I don't think that our students have a lot of other choices. So we need to be the best that we can be. Okay, any other comments? We're ready for a vote. We have a motion and a second. Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I hear that is unanimous vote. The next item is notice of intent to award contract for the East Valley Campus, a Mecca Thermal Project video surveillance upgrade.
So move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. I'm hoping we'll hear about these. First, I'm hoping that we did this after talking to the Riverside Sheriff's Office that actually serves out there. Oh, wait.
Is that a question?
No, that was, I'm waiting. Okay. It's online.
It's online.
Joe, my question about these surveillance cameras is I'm hoping that when we figured what we were going to do down to the no, I'm still not there, okay. Okay. I'm hoping that when we make this decision as to what kind of cameras and where they're going to be placed, that we did it in conjunction with the Community Services District officers and the Riverside County Sheriff, so that when we do, if we were to need to interact with the law enforcement of that area, that it would actually fit their needs. That would be helpful, and they have asked in every way they know how for us to do that.
Okay.
Although, what a novel thought. Yes, I know. And if anyone needs the name of the lieutenant down there, which would be, or the sergeant that's in charge of that area, I'd be happy to provide it. And they will be more than happy to interact with us. And of course, it's college money and not county money, so we have our options as to how we spend it. But I think we should interact with them. I know on another occasion when we were wishing there were a picture, actually one had been taken, but there was not recorded. So probably we could have just put up a dummy camera and done ourselves as much good. So we need to think about that before we do it. That's my comments for the day.
We will make sure that Vice President Howell and staff coordinate that.
Thank you very much.
Well, I think Stan also addressed that this morning, and what type of video surveillance we should be looking at, and I'm sure that if it hasn't been, will be taken into consideration.
Exactly. Sometimes we do something and we forget, because if you're in a city, it's very easy to call the chief of police, but that's in the county, so we think, oh, there is. There's a services district there, and there's that lovely, beautiful new sheriff's office right up there on Airport Boulevard. So we do have people that would be interested in helping and interacting with us. Any other discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I hear that is a unanimous vote. There is one other item, item 4, which is there's the administrative services. Item 4, approval of affiliations agreements. This is the one that we were saying as we approved this agenda, that there was a copy at the back of the room. And this is something which I think we're all very happy to see.
Yes.
So do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a motion and a second? Is there any discussion?
I'm just very happy that we have this partnership. The College of the Desert and doing all these great partnerships in our community is wonderful. I think it's great, and we're moving forward as a district. I think it's wonderful. Thank you.
And I was speaking with someone from the California chapter of the Flying Doctors the other day, and they were saying how important, how useful it could be for that interaction. Yes. Our students having that exposure, and that organization having the opportunity to work with our students. So I think it'll be a very positive interaction. So thank you very much.
And loose.
Yes. Okay, so any other discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I hear that is unanimous vote. Student success and student learning. Resolution. Okay. Yeah, I do, because my sheet doesn't have this. Okay, thank you.
Oh, yours
You're
doesn't have it
such
either,
a good, you're such a good vice chair.
Roll call.
Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. This is resolution 09-1914-3. Approve designated personnel to sign California Department of Education contract documents for fiscal year 2014-2015. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Joel, would you give us a little background so we'll know what we're voting on? Or Anna, would you give us a little background?
Anna, will you give us a little bit of background on?
I would be happy to give you a little bit of background on this. This resolution is actually a new it's a new request from the Department of Education asking for each district to specifically identify the person responsible to sign the contracts that fund our Child Development Center. So when our contracts came this year, this request came, and because it was new to us, we wanted to make sure that we followed through in a timely manner, and so we're asking for your support to designate myself as the approved personnel signing on behalf of the district.
Is it dangerous only having one? Is there, I mean, let's say you're out.
Well, these contracts are signed, they're actually annual contracts.
Oh, it's one time?
Yeah, they
Okay.
are. So I will just sign them for the year, and
It's just a one-time shot?
One-time shot.
Okay. I thought it was ongoing. We might have things coming in. Okay.
So thank you for that explanation. Are there any questions? Any other questions? Any other discussion? Okay, it's a roll call vote.
Okay, Student Trustee Campbell.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Trustee Broughton.
Aye. That being coming to the end of the agenda, we are going to go back to closed session for a few minutes. Probably most of you will be gone by the time we come back to report out and to close, to adjourn the session. So I would like to remind you that we are going to adjourn this meeting in memory of Mr. Ken Lamont. So we are in recess.